Do you want to learn how to design user interface and create amazing user experiences with Figma? This is the perfect course to master step-by-step UI/UX design from scratch. In this course, you will learn the skill set that will advance your career, help you get a job as a UI/UX designer, and allow you to design your own entrepreneurial project. What differentiates this UI/UX course from other is how quickly you will begin to learn design skills. You don't have to waste your precious time to master most demanding skill set. Within few hours of the course, you will gain confidence with Figma to translate any web app or idea to reality. Even if you have never used any design software before, this course will teach you everything you need to know step by step so you can get started and create your own amazing design projects right now. Hi there, I am Ujjwal Singh and I will be your instructor in the course. In this course, I have distilled years of my knowledge as a product designer and covered everything from basic to advanced step by step from scratch. The factor that makes this course popular among the students is the fact that it is the most comprehensive and detailed course on the internet that is well balanced between the practical and theoretical aspects of UI/UX design. If you want to know how I teach, you can watch the free preview lectures. As you are aware, this course comes with a 30-day money back guarantee. So you can enroll now, and if for some reason you feel that this course is not for you, you can instantly get your money back. There is no risk in trying it out. If you want to quickly start your journey as a professional UI/UX designer, I believe this is the perfect course for you. This course also includes tons of resources and design file at the end of the project. You are free to use that in your own portfolio. So click that enroll button. I will see you in the next lesson. Hi there, welcome back. Before starting the course, we will go through the course overview. It will give you an idea of how the course will progress. This course has been divided into multiple sections so you can grasp the concepts easily. We will start the course with basics and gradually progress to the more advanced topic. We will start from Figma interface introduction that would be consist of frames, grid and device breakpoints. In this section, you will learn how to create the frame and grid and rules regarding device breakpoints. After that, we will move to the next section. In this section, we will learn about color theory and color harmony, and we will see how to create the gradient. And after that, we will learn image manipulation in Figma. We will also see how to create the color palette for the projects and how to use the EyeDropper tool. And at last, we will see how to use the plugins. In next section, we will learn how to create the stroke and effects. We will explore the effects in detail. We will see how to create the drop shadow and inner shadow. And after that, we will learn how to create the different kind of blur like layer blur and background blur. At the end of this section, we will see how to export the design. The next section is consist of shapes. In this section, we will explore how to create the shapes in Figma. We will create all kind of shapes like rectangle, line, arrow, ellipse, circle, as well as polygon and star. After that, we will move to the next section that would be consist of vectors, boolean and pen tool. In this section, we will learn how to use the pen tool to create the custom shapes. We will also learn the importance of vector shape, and after that we will see how to perform boolean operation with shapes. The next section would be typography. In this section, we will learn about typography and we will see the difference between serif and sans serif typefaces. In this section, we will also see how to choose the typefaces for the project. After exploring these things, we will move to the next section that is a very important section of this course. In this section, we will learn auto layout, components and variant. We will explore all properties of auto layout with multiple examples and we will see multiple use cases for these. These are the three major features of Figma. The next few sections would be consist of projects. We will design multiple projects to summarize all the concepts that we have learned so far. Through the project, we will learn how to apply the concepts practically and after that we will move towards the advanced topics in the course. In next section, we will learn how to create the prototype and animation. We will see the basics of prototype and explore all the triggers and actions. After understanding the prototype and animation, we will move to the next section that would be consist of transition and easing curve. We will learn about Bezier curves and we will see when to use which transition. After learning prototype, animation and transition, we will create a large project in which we will apply everything we have learned. Once you reach this point in the course, you can easily create any user interface design with animation and micro interaction. After completing this project, we will move to the next section and we will learn advanced stuff about UX domain. We will learn about design thinking and we will see how is it used to create world-class products. After learning about design thinking, we will go through the UX design process and exam brainstorming. By performing these activities, you will understand how the product is designed in real world. After that, we will see what is user persona and how is it useful for deciding the product features. In the next section, we will design the mega project which will summarize all the topics that we have learned so far. After learning these things, we will delve deeper into the world of UX theories and understand their practical implementation. We will start by learning about usability heuristic. We will see what is usability heuristic and why is it important. And after that, we will understand how they serve as a guideline for designers to identify and address common usability problems. After that, we will understand Nelson principles for interaction design. These principles will provide us the framework for evaluating apps, website or any digital interface. In the next section, we will learn about accessibility and WCAG standards to understand the ethical and legal aspects of UI/UX design. We will understand how we should design a product that promotes inclusivity, reaches a broader audience, and enhances the brand's reputation in the market. We will also see how to use the Figma plugin to check the accessibility for the user interface. After learning these, we move on to next section and learn about the atomic design methodology and color psychology. We will explore how we can use atomic design methodology to create consistent, modular, and scalable design systems. Afterward, we will delve into the color psychology and understand how to use it to create a visually appealing, emotionally resonant, and user-friendly interfaces. After learning these, we will move on to the next section where we will learn about shape psychology and Gestalt principles. In this section, we will understand how using different shapes can evoke specific emotion and psychological responses from users. These principles are crucial for designer to optimize user experience and convey message effectively through the design. After learning these UX theories, you will have a foundational understanding of the principles, concepts, and methodologies that underlie user-centered design. By learning these theories, you will develop a user-centric mindset, which is critical for creating websites or apps that meets the user expectation and need. These theories will also help you to become an effective problem solver and provide a framework for creative thinking. They will encourage you to explore innovative solutions while maintaining a focus on usability and user satisfaction. After learning these, we will start designing mobile apps, but before that, we need to understand one more important thing, that is design system. We will see how design systems are crucial to ensuring consistency, efficiency, and scalability in UI/UX projects. In order to design mobile apps, we need to understand two most important design systems named as Human Interface Guidelines and Material Design. These design systems are by Apple and Google respectively. We will go through their documentation as well as their official Figma kits. In this section, we will also understand how to integrate the components from these design systems to our own projects. From the next section, we will start designing the mobile apps. At first, we will design few most common design patterns like onboarding and sign up. After that, we will start designing the full-fledged mobile app projects. We will design multiple real-world apps and apply all the things that we have learned so far in the course. This course is a continuous commitment. I will be continually adding new content and projects to stay in sync with Figma updates and evolving market trends. I have carefully balanced the pace of the course, but if you feel the lecture speed is too slow or fast, you can change the lecture speed from here. If you have any problem while doing the course, you can directly message me or ask in the Q&A section on the Udemy. I have also created an exclusive Discord community for you where you can interact with the designer from all over the world and ask the queries. So I will wrap up this lecture here. Thank you. Hi there, welcome to the very first lecture of this course. In next few lectures, we will explore the captivating world of Figma and build a strong understanding of its tools and functionalities. For exploring the Figma, we will go to the browser and search for Figma. I will click here, figma.com, it is the official link. Basically, Figma is a cloud-based design and prototyping tool used to create user interfaces and user experiences for websites, mobile apps, and other digital products. We will see how to create them after learning the basics. Being a cloud-based tool, Figma allows users to access and work on their design projects through a web browser without the need to download or install any software locally. This means we can work and collaborate with Figma seamlessly from anywhere with an internet connection. But I will prefer to install the Figma desktop app locally on my computer. You can also use it in the browser if you are comfortable. I do already have account, so I will simply click here to log in. You can also log in with Google, or you can also click here to create a new account. As soon as you log into Figma, you will be redirected to this page. We will understand this interface in next lecture, but for now let me show you how to install the Figma locally in the computer. For installing the Figma desktop app, we will simply go to the products and click here to go to the downloads. We can download the Figma desktop installer for Mac or Windows from here. After downloading the setup, you can simply install it. It is standard double click install, and please let me know if you have any difficulty while installing the app. So this is it for this lecture. I will wrap up this lecture here. From next lecture, we will dive deep into the Figma and we will start exploring the tools. Thank you. Once you logged in into the Figma, you will immediately be redirected to the main home page, which serve as a starting point to Figma app. The main home page is where you will find the file browser, which allows you to manage your account, organize your work, and browse through the team's projects and files. And let's initiate our exploration of this interface by considering these three options. The first one is for creating a new design file, the second one is for creating new Figma file, and third one is for importing the file. And on left hand side we have the recent file followed by draft and community. We will explore the community section in upcoming lecture. For now I will click here to create a new design file. So this is the Figma interface. It is consist of basically four parts. The first one is toolbar, the second one is layer panel, the third one is canvas, and the fourth one is design panel. And if you notice from the toolbar, by default move tool is selected. The shortcut for move tool is V. For explaining the move tool, I will click here and take the frame and click anywhere on the canvas. Now with the help of move tool, we can simply move this frame. When we put the frame, if you have noticed on the layer panel, we have frame 1. You can also rename this frame from here. For that, simply double click on it and rename this frame. Let's say frames. For renaming the design file, simply click here and rename it. Basically, frame is a foundational element for the design that act as a top level container. That means all the elements like text, images and icons are going to be placed on the frame. Frame is a parent object in Figma. That means it can control and influence any child object that we place within it. For example, here the frame is parent object, and if I place text on it, the text will behave with respect to the frame. Here the text is child object and frame is a parent object. By default, the background fill of the frame is white. You can also change the fill from here. We will explore fill in detail in upcoming lecture. On right hand side, you can see we have many properties that are attached with the frame. Let's explore one by one. The very first property that we see here is X and Y. These are basically position coordinates. For explaining it more clearly, I will put here 0. And I will press shift plus 1. Shift plus 1 is the shortcut for zoom to fit. And now I will drag the ruler from both sides. If you notice, the top left corner of this frame is at 0, 0. And if you are not able to see the ruler tool, press shift plus R. Shift plus R is the shortcut for turning on and off ruler tool. So basically these X and Y values are used to position the object. I will zoom out. For that I will hold command key, and by holding the command key, I will simply scroll up and down. It is the gesture for zooming in and out in Figma. Now let's understand the next properties, that is width and height. So you can simply change the width and height from here like this. You can also put the manual values. For example, I will put here 50, and this option is for locking the constraint. If you click here and lock the constraint, now this frame will increase or decrease in proportion. For example, if I put here 200, you can see the height of the frame has been proportionally increased. The next property we have is rotation. You can simply rotate the frame from here. You can also put the manual values, and if you want to rotate it by the difference of 15 degree, you can simply select the corner and hold the shift, and you can rotate it like this. And the next property we have is corner radius. You can change the corner radius from here. For example, let's put here 10. As you can see, the frame's corner has been rounded. You can also change the corner radius individually. For that, simply click here. For example, the first value is for top left corner. I will put here 0. The second one is for top right corner. Let's say I will put here 30. And this value is for bottom right. I will put here 50. And this value is for bottom left. Let's say I will again put here 0. Now let's learn these two properties. For that, I will again take the frame and click here and change its width from 100 to 400 and its height to 800. I will press shift plus 1 for zoom to fit. Basically, these two options are used to change the frame orientation. It is in portrait now. If I click here, it will change to landscape. And the next option we have is resize to fit. For explaining this option, I will again take one more frame, but before that, let's change its color to red and take one more frame and give it a background fill of violet. For that, I will click here and change its hue to violet. And now we have two frames. On layer panel, you can see we have frame 1, that is parent frame, and inside that we have frame 2, that is child frame. Now I will select the frame 1 and click here. Now you can see the bigger frame has become equal to the smaller frame. I will select frame 2 from layer panel and drag it like this. Now you can see we have two frames of equal size. So this is how resize to fit option is used. You can also change the frame size from here. The keyboard shortcut for frame is F. Figma does also provides pre-default template of various screen size. When we design the actual project, we do not need to worry about the screen sizes. We will choose it from here. So this is it about this lecture. In next lecture, we will learn grid and we will see how to create it in Figma. Thank you. Hi there, welcome back. In this lecture, we will learn how to create grid in Figma. But before that, we will learn what is grid and how is it useful and why is it important to use it. So grid is basically used to organize the content in efficient manner. Here I have listed few points that why do we use grid. Let's go through the grid's anatomy and understand the basic terminologies that are used with it. As you can see in the slide, the first one is row grid, the second one is column grid, and third one is modular grid. The space between the two strips is called gutter or alley, and space at the edge of the frame is called margin. The space created by overlapping horizontal and vertical grid is called module. These are the basic terminologies about the grid. Now let's see the type of grid. We have basically five type of grid, that are manuscript grid, column grid, baseline grid, modular grid, and hierarchical grid. Let's understand all these grid in detail by example. Basically, manuscript grid are used when there is a requirement for arranging the lot of text properly. In example, you can see text is aligned on the document with the help of manuscript grid. The next type of grid is column grid, that is used to organize the content in column. This is the most common grid that we use in mobile or app design. And here is the example for that. The next type of grid is baseline grid. It is used to align the text. In example, you can see text are aligned with the help of baseline grid. This grid is used to place the text with high precision. The next type of grid is modular grid. This grid is used to place the object at the space created by the intersection of row and column. YouTube uses modular grid to place the content. The next type of grid is hierarchical grid. Hierarchical grid are mostly used in website design to organize the content according to the order of importance. Hierarchical and column grid are mostly used in web and app design. Now we will move to Figma and learn how to set up actual grid. For creating the grid, I will take the frame, but before that, I will create a new page. For that, I will click here and click this little plus icon and rename this page grid and rename this page to frame. Basically, page is used to organize the design in same design file. Now we will go to grid page and click here to take the frame offside desktop. For creating the grid, I will simply click here. By default, Figma will create grid of 10 pixel. You can verify it from here. For that, I will zoom in and take the rectangle tool and create a rectangle of size 10 by 10. As you can see, rectangle of size 10 by 10 fits properly in this module. For changing the grid size, I will click here, layout grid setting, and change its size from 10 to 50. Now you can see we have the grid of size 50. You can also change it to 100, and you can also change the grid color from here. For example, let's change it from red to blue. And if you want to turn off the grid, simply click here. This eye icon is used to turn on and off the grid. The shortcut for turning on and off grid is Ctrl plus G. Now let's change its orientation from grid to column and change its column count to 6 and margin to 100 from both sides. You can change the gutter spacing from here. I will revert it to 20, and this option is used to change the type of the grid. By default, stretch is selected. You can change it to center or right or left. You can also change the width from here. I will revert it to stretch. In stretch mode, we don't need to put width manually. By default, it is auto. That means if I change the width of the frame, you can see the width of the grid gets automatically adjusted. I will undo the frame size to 1440. For that, I will press Command and Z. Now let's understand how to create the row grid. For creating the row grid, I will click here and change its grid orientation from grid to row and count to 6. Let's turn off this column grid so we can see clearly and margin to 100. All other properties are similar. We can change the gutter from here, or we can change the type of the grid from here, and from this option we can change the height of the grid. In stretch, by default auto is selected. That means if I change the height of frame, the grid would be automatically adjusted. I will undo the frame size. For that, I will press Command plus Z. One important thing about row grid is with the help of row grid we can easily create the baseline grid that we have learned in theory. For creating the baseline grid, I will increase its count and change its gutter to 0, and I will increase the opacity. You can see how easily we can create the baseline grid with the help of row. We can also create the module grid with the help of these two. For creating the module grid, I will again change its count to 6 and gutter to 20 and reduce its opacity to 10%. For creating the modular grid, I will turn on the column grid. So you can see we have these modules now. You can change the module size by changing the count value. I will undo this. You can also put this grid into the design system for reusability purpose. For demonstrating that, I will again take the frame of size desktop and put it below previous frame. Now suppose we want to use previous grid on this new frame. But if I select the frame and go to layout grid, you can see it shows nothing. So basically there are two ways for using that grid on this frame. I can create that grid again manually. The best approach is to put the grid into the design system, so we don't need to create it every time. But before that, I will remove this grid. For that, I will click here this minus icon and select this frame. Click here this folder and click this plus icon to create the style. And I will put here grid and click here to create the style. Now for using this same grid to desktop too, I will select the frame and click here and select the grid from here. You can see how easily we can reuse the grid. Now suppose you want to use only one grid. You don't want this module grid. For using only one grid, click here to detach the style and click here to remove the grid. Now you can simply use the one grid. Let's put this grid into design system too. That is column grid. I will take one more frame and select the grid from here and detach the style and add this row grid into the design system. That is row grid. So now we have added three types of grid in design system. For exploring the design system, simply click anywhere on the canvas and on right hand side you can see we have the grid styles that we have added. So this is it. I will wrap up this lecture here. Thank you. Hi there, welcome back. In this lecture we will learn about device breakpoints and we will see how to create them. As you can see in this slide, I have taken three most common type of screen size, that is mobile, tablet and desktop. Now let's see their dimension. For creating the grid for mobile resolution, we need to take the column of 4, margin of 16 and gutter of 16. Few designers also take the margin of 20 or 24 pixel. Now let's see the dimension for tablet. The tablet screen size has a column count of 8 and margin and gutter of 24 pixel. The next screen size we have is desktop size. In desktop resolution, we generally take the column of count 12 or 6, margin of 100 and gutter of 20 pixel. If you notice, there is a relationship between column count of all these three screens, and that relationship is they all are the multiples of 4. We will see in a second why these values are in the multiple of 4. Before moving to Figma, there is one important note, that is gutter and margin sizes are flexible. They do not need to be same. You are free to change them according to the requirement. Now we will move to Figma and create these layout grids. For creating the mobile layout grid, I will click here and take the frame of size mobile and select this frame and put this frame here and click here to add the layout grid and change its orientation from grid to column of count 4 and margin 16 and gutter of 16. I will put this grid into the design system, that is mobile grid, and rename this frame mobile screen. For creating the layout grid of tablet, I will take the frame of size tablet and select this frame and click here to add the layout grid and change its orientation from grid to column, count of 8 and margin and gutter to 24, and add this grid into the design system, that is tablet grid. For creating the grid on desktop, I will again take the frame of size desktop and place it here and click here to create the layout grid and change its orientation from grid to column of count 12 and margin 100 from both sides, and leave the gutter as it is and add this grid into the design system, that is desktop grid, and rename this frame desktop screen and this one to tablet screen. Now if you are wondering why we are taking the column of count 12, there is a reason for that. The reason for that is 12 is divisible by 2, 3 and 4. That means if we choose the column of count 12, we will be able to divide the design area into the multiple equal columns. Let me show you. For that I will take the rectangle tool. I am using rectangle tool here. We will see rectangle tool in detail in upcoming lecture. but for now I'm just using it. I will create here a rectangle of column 6 and take one more copy. Now we have divided the design area into two equal columns. Let's divide it into the three equal columns. I will take one more copy and divide it into the four equal columns. I will take one more copy and I will again divide it into the six equal columns. So this is the reason why we take the column of count 12. Here you can see we are able to divide the design area into multiple equal columns. This is helpful in two ways. For designer, it is easy to create the layout and place the element, and for developer, it is easy to write the CSS. This 12 column grid is also used by popular CSS frameworks. So this is it. I will wrap up this lecture here. Thank you. Hi there, welcome back. In this lecture, we will learn how to add the color to the project. But before that, we will go through color theory and we will see importance of it. We will also explore various properties of color and we will see why color is very impactful medium for visual communication. But before going into the fundamental of color theory, I would like to show you few examples and I request you to observe the example for at least a second. Here I have already searched few paintings from Google Image that I am going to show you one by one. I request you to think you about why these paintings are so pleasing to our eyes. In this very first painting, you can see the green apple is put inside the red basket, and altogether this painting looks very vibrant and beautiful. You can see in this example too, this boat is in red color and everything else is blue. Now try to think how these great painters are using the color combination. Obviously, these paintings are designed by professional painters, but the point that I am trying to say here is how they are choosing the colors. Why these paintings have amazing color harmony. The next example is here. You can see how beautifully the painter has chosen the color palette. I would like to show you few more examples. Next painting is this beautiful leaf paintings. You can see palette is looking awesome here. Now let's move to the next example. This painting is also example of beautiful color combination. Now let's move to the next painting. This painting also looks great. The next example is this painting. This painting uses single color with multiple variation. We will again go through this painting after learning the color theory. But the question that I want to ask you is there some science behind that? How they are able to select the color palette for their designs? Is there some secret recipe for choosing the color? The answer is yes. Designers and painters are using color theory since ages. We will go through it and we will understand thoroughly how to use it. For that, we will move back to slide and understand fundamentals of color theory. Basically, color theory is used to determine what color will look good together. As we have seen in the painting, they were looking so amazing because their color combination were great. The second point that I have written here is that color theory is a study of color families and relationships. We will see in detail how they are related, but before that we will go through the process by which color is created. Here is the color wheel. It is the basis of color theory because it shows the relationship between the colors. We will see that relationship in a second. This color wheel is invented by Sir Isaac Newton. He had mapped the visible color spectrum into the circle. We will see how this color wheel is derived with the help of primary colors. But before that, let's understand how color is categorized. Color is categorized using the color model. Color model has divided the color into two systems. The one is additive color, another one is subtractive color. Let's understand what is the difference between them. The very fundamental difference between these two is additive color uses light as a source to display the output, while in subtractive color it uses ink to display the output. Additive color mixes red, green, blue to produce the result. This color system is also known as RGB color system. RGB stands for red, green and blue. Televisions, monitor and mobile phone screens are the prime example for additive colors. They uses additive color to produce the output. And if you are wondering why red, green, blue is used in a screen, the reason for that is the light source that is used to create the digital displays of color red, green and blue. In old CRT monitors or television, you can observe this red, green, blue light with naked eye. Now let's understand the source for subtractive colors. In subtractive colors, we have two types of systems. One is RYB and another one is CMYK. RYB color system uses red, yellow, blue to create the color, and the primary source for that is actual paint and pigment. It is used to create art and paintings. The another subtractive color system is CMYK, where C is stand for cyan, M is stand for magenta, Y is stand for yellow, K is stand for key. In today's printing world, key color is black. This color system is used in printing. The printer color cartridge uses this color system to produce the output. Now let's understand what is primary, secondary and tertiary color. In previous slide, we have seen RYB color model. This color wheel is created using that. Red, yellow and blue is considered as primary color. Primary color means they can't be created using other colors. And by mixing two primary color, we get secondary color. And by mixing one secondary and primary color, we get tertiary color. For example, you can see by mixing yellow and blue color, we get green color. By mixing yellow and green, we get this tertiary color, that is light green, and by mixing blue and green we get this dark green. So this is how we get the color wheel. Now let's understand what are cool color and what are warm color. In this color wheel you can see on left hand side we have cool color, that is blue, green, purple, and on right hand side we have warmer color, that is red, orange and yellow. Now let's understand the color harmony and learn how to create the color palette with the help of color wheel. So basically color harmony is a technique for combining colors that looks good together. The very first color harmony is complementary colors. In this method, two colors are chosen that lies opposite end of the color wheel. Now let's again go through the example that we have seen at the beginning of the lecture. You can see in this painting complementary color has been used, green for the apple and red for the pot. So that's why color harmony is very useful while creating the UI of painting. The next color harmony is split complementary. In split complementary, there is one key color and two adjacent colors. And this is the example for split complementary painting. You can see how beautifully painter has used those colors. The next color scheme we have is analogous color. Basically, analogous color is a consist of three hue that is positioned next to each other. We will see in a second what is hue. But for now, let's see the example for analogous color. In this example, you can see painter has used the analogous color. He has used the color that are positioned next to each other on the color wheels. The next color harmony is triadic. The triadic color combination is created by placing the equilateral triangle on the color wheel. In this painting, you can see triadic color is used. The next color harmony is tetradic. So basically tetradic have four individual color and these color combination are obtained when we put the rectangle on the color wheel. Tetradic color harmony is also called as double split complementary because it uses pair of complementary color. Tetra means 4, tri means 3. In triadic color harmony there is 3 colors. In tetradic color harmony there will be 4 colors. In this painting you can see designer has used the tetradic color. The next type of color harmony is square color harmony. This is less known color harmony. In this color harmony, instead of rectangle, square is placed. It is basically type of tetradic color harmony. The next type of color harmony is monochromatic. It is a very beautiful color harmony. Basically, in this color harmony, single base hue is chosen and whole color scheme is created by using the different shade, tone and tints. Now we have 4 words, that is hue, shade, tone and tint. So before understanding that, this color harmony would not make much sense. So let's understand that what is hue, shade, tone and tint. So here is the explanation for that. Hue is basically a pure color without any kind of mixture. When we mix white with the hue, it becomes tint. When we mix the gray with the hue, it becomes tone. And when we mix the black with the hue, it becomes shades. You might have heard these words with reference to the cosmetic products. Now let's move back to monochromatic color harmony. Let's again go through the definition. The definition says monochromatic color harmony uses single base hue and extend the color scheme by using different shade, tone, tints of the same color family. In this color wheel, you can see monochromatic color scheme for red, green, yellow, orange and so on. In this example, you can see this painting uses blue monochromatic color. So this is how we use the color harmony to create the amazing designs. In this lecture, we have learned about color theory in detail and we have understood how to create the color harmony with the help of color wheel. In next lecture, we will move to Figma and learn how to fill the color and we will see how to create the color harmony with the help of plugins. Thank you. Hi there, welcome back. In this lecture, we will learn how to fill the color in the object and we will see how to create the color palette. Before experimenting with the color, I will click here to create the new page and rename this page Color Theory and click here to take the frame and click anywhere on the canvas to create the frame of size 100 by 100. By default it is filled with white color. You can change it from here like this and with the help of this slider you can change the hue. Let's choose blue here. And this slider is used to change the opacity of the color. By default it is 100%. You can change it from 0% to 100%. You can also put the manual hex values. For example, I will put here B2 B2 B2, that is hex code for gray color. And if you want to change it from hex to RGB, you can change it from here and you can put the manual values. Let's say I put here 000, this is black, and this fourth value is for opacity, let's say 50%. These three values are for red, green and blue respectively, and fourth value is for opacity. You can also change it to CSS, HSL or HSB. They are different color systems. And below that we have documents color. It lists all the color that are used in this design file. For example, this first three color are used by the Figma interface itself. And if you are wondering where we have used these last three color, we have used these colors in previous lecture. And if you want to create the gradient, simply click here and change it to linear from solid. Now change its color to red and second one to blue and increase its opacity to 100%. And with the help of these two hints, you can adjust the gradient like this. And if you want to change the direction, simply select this handle and change it like this. You can also create the different kind of gradient from here. You can use these handlebar to adjust these color. We can also create the angular gradient from here. This works in the same way. You can also create the diamond gradient. These 2 points are used to position the gradient. This third point is used to achieve the 3D effect in gradient. So this is how we create the gradient. The next option we have is image. So let's understand how to fill the image. For placing the image into the shape, we will select the image and click here to choose the image from your local computer. And from these options, you can adjust the image property. For showing this, I will quickly download the image. For that, I will go to Google and search for pixels and click here pixel.com. Pixel is a great website for free stock photos. So I will search here for dog and I will choose this image and download it. And now I will move back to Figma and click here to choose the image and select the image from here that we have downloaded. Now this image is perfectly filled inside this frame, but this image looks like faded. The reason for that is we have set the fill to 50%. I will change it to 100%. Now it is perfect. By default, images are set to fill. You can change it from here. You can change it to fit. It will simply fit the whole image into the shape. The main difference between fill and fit is fill will expand to the dimension of the shape, and when you use the fit, the whole image will be fit into the shape by creating the padding. The next option is crop. You can simply crop the image by adjusting the edges. The next option we have is style. For explaining this, we need a frame that is bigger than this image dimension. Before creating that frame, I will select this frame and delete it. For creating the frame, I will click here and select the frame and create the frame of size 2000 by 3000. I will press Shift plus 1 for zoom to fit and change this fill from solid to image and select the same image and change the image fill to tile. Now you can see tile has repeated the same image 2 times. The way tile works is it tries to fit the whole image in the frame, and if there is a remaining space, it will repeat the same image. You can also change the number of tile from here. You can increase the number of tile by decreasing the percentage value and vice versa. Now let's understand these image correction options. For that I will change it to fill. The very first option we have is exposure. You can change the exposure from here. Exposure is used to increase or decrease the amount of the light in the image. The next option we have is contrast. You can change the contrast like this. Contrast is used to change the degree of difference between lighter tone and darker tone. That means when you change the contrast, the lighter portion of the image will get lighter and the darker portion of the image will get darker. The next option we have is saturation. You can change the saturation from here. If you decrease it to extreme, the image will become black and white. The next option we have is temperature. By decreasing the temperature, you will get the cooler effect, and by increasing the temperature, you will get the warmer effect. You can also change the tint, highlight and shadows from these options. And if you want to rotate the image, simply click here. This option is used to rotate the image at 90°. So this is it. I will wrap up this lecture here. Thank you. Till now we have learned how to fill the solid color and create the gradient, and we have understood how to fill the image. Now let's understand how to create the color palette. We will create the color palette with the help of plugins. For installing the plugin, we will move back to home page and click here on community. Community is a place where designer and developer from all over the world share the amazing design resources and plugin. Inside the community, we have all kind of resource for web design and mobile design. You can explore it from here. The plugin we want to install is Color Compass. For installing that, I will search here Color Compass and click here on plugins and click here to try it out. Basically, Color Compass is an excellent plugin for generating the color palette for the design. For starting the plugin, I will click here run and move this panel here and take the frame and click here, and I will choose blue color as a base color and copy its hex by Command and C, paste this value here and click here to update the palette. Now you can see we have the base color and below that we have tint and shades, and on right hand side we have the color harmony that we have learned in theory. Suppose I want to export this tint color palette, I will simply click here. You can see we have the tint of this color. From here we can create the shade and we can export the different color harmonies like this. Let's change the base color. Let's change it to pink. I will copy it hex and paste it here and update the palette. Here pink is the base color and these are the tints of the pink and these are the shades. You can also put the shade and tints together. For that, I will hold the shift and select this corner and reverse it like this and place this here. You can also create the blended color palette. For that, simply click here. This option simply blends the current base color with previous one. As you can see here, pink has been blended with previous blue color. Let's create one more color palette by blending different color. For that, I will change the base color to green and copy the hex and paste it here and update the color palette and click here to generate the color palette. You can see this color palette has been created by blending two colors, that is the current green color and previous pink color. So this is it. I will wrap up this lecture here. Thank you. We have learned how to use this plugin. Now we want to save this plugin for future use. For saving this plugin, we will click here. As you can see, these are the list of plugins that recently used, and from this drop down we can see the saved plugin. Now we want to save this plugin for future use. For that, I will click here and click this three dot and click here to save. Now the plugin has been saved. We can verify it from here. We are manually saving this plugin because if you're using the Figma in browser and for some reason you need to log in your Figma account in another browser, or you need to clear the history and cache, your favorite plugin will go away if you have not saved it manually. For installing that plugin again, you need to go to the community and repeat the whole process. That's why we are saving it manually. So this is all about this plugin. There is one more useful tool in color panel that I want to explain. That tool is EyeDropper tool. For explaining that, I will again take the frame and click here and create two more copies, and I will click here on fill, and this tool is a EyeDropper tool. Using EyeDropper tool, we can easily extract the color from pixel. For example, if I hover over here, you can see the super zoom pixel and a hex code for that, and if I click here, I can simply extract that pixel color. Let me show you one more example. For that, I will select the second frame and click here to take the EyeDropper tool, and suppose I want to extract the color from this pixel, I will simply click here. So this is how EyeDropper tool is used. We can extract the color from anywhere, even from the images and illustration. In this lecture, we have learned how to create the color palette with the help of plugin, and we have understood how to create the color harmony. So this is it. I will wrap up this lecture here. Thank you. Hi there, welcome back. In this lecture, we will learn how to create the stroke and we will see its various properties. Before exploring the stroke, we will create a new page and rename this page stroke. I will close the color compass design file from previous lecture. For creating the stroke, I will create a frame of size 100 by 100 and I will zoom a little bit and click here this little plus icon to create a stroke. By default, it will add a stroke of color black with 1 pixel thickness. We can change the stroke color from here. This second value is used to increase or decrease the opacity of the stroke, and from here we can change the stroke thickness. Let's say I put here 8, and by default inside is selected. That means when we change the stroke thickness, it will increase or decrease from inside. If I change it to outside, Now the stroke thickness will be increase or decrease from outside. And if I change it to center, the stroke thickness will be increase or decrease from center. Suppose we want to provide the stroke on a specific side. For that we will click here. We can give the stroke to any side from here. We can also create the custom stroke. For that I will click here. Let's say I want 6 pixel stroke from left side, 4 pixel stroke from top, and 2 pixel stroke from bottom. Now let's understand advanced stroke options. For that I will change the stroke thickness of all sides to 8 and increase the frame size to 200 and click here this 3 dot. As you can see, by default it has solid stroke style. We can change it to dash, and from this option we can increase or decrease the dash. The next value is used to change the gap between the dash, and we can manipulate the dash gap from here. By default it is none. We can change it to square as well as round. We can give stroke to any shape. For example, I will take the rectangle and click here to add the stroke. As you can see, we got same properties. We can manipulate the stroke as we have done previously. So this is it for this lecture. In next lecture we will learn how to create the effect. Thank you. Hi there, welcome back. In this lecture we will learn about various effects. Before explaining the effect, I will create a new page. For that I will click here and rename this page effects, and I will take the frame from here and click here to create the frame. For adding the effects I will click here. As you can see, by default drop shadow has been added. From here we can manipulate the drop shadow. The x and y values are used to change the position of the shadow. As you can see, when I change the x value, the shadow moves in horizontal direction, and when I change the y value, the shadow moves in vertical direction. This value is used to change the blur, and the next value is used to spread the shadow. By default it is 0, and this value is for opacity of the shadow. By default it is 25. We can also change the shadow color, and if you want to remove the effect, simply click here this minus icon. One more important thing about this shadow effect is that it will not work if you have no object. This effect works in the same way as shadow works in real world. If there is no real object, then its shadow cannot be formed. Let me demonstrate you. For that I will remove the fill and click here again to add the shadow. As you can see, no matter what property I manipulate, the shadow does not form. The reason for that is we have empty frame without fill. The shadow will form even if I add stroke to it. I have added the stroke of 1 pixel, and if I manipulate the x and y value, you can see the shadow of stroke behind the frame. With the stroke you can also show and hide the transparent area. For that simply click here. Let's understand next effect, that is inner shadow. For that I will take the frame and create the frame of size 100 and change its color to red. Like drop shadow, inner shadow allows you to create the depth within two-dimensional design. Instead of creating a shadow behind your selection, it will create the shadow within the object. So this is all about shadow effect. In next lecture we will learn about blur effect. Hi there, welcome back. In this lecture we will learn about blur effect. There are two kinds of blur effect in Figma. The one is layer blur and another is background blur. We will see each of them one by one. At first we will understand how layer blur works. As name suggests, layer blur is used to blur the layer. Let me demonstrate that through example. For that I will take the frame and click here and change its width and height to 500. Now I want to create the blur layer on the image. For that I will take the rectangle tool and create a rectangle of same size, and I will align this rectangle with respect to the frame. Now we want to place the image here. For that we will install a plugin. The plugin name is Unsplash. I have already installed it. You can install it from community. After installing the plugin, select the rectangle and right click here and go to the plugin. Click here Unsplash. I will search for nature. For adding the layer blur, we will simply click here and change its effect from drop shadow to layer blur. Basically this layer blur is applied on the rectangle one in which we have placed the image. And suppose I take the text tool and write here nature, and let's say increase the font size. Now you can see the text is easily readable. If you are wondering why we have not placed the image inside the frame directly, why did we have to take a rectangle and apply an effect to it? Let's understand this through an example. For that I will again take the frame tool and create a frame of same size and place the image inside that. For that I will again go to the Unsplash and I will search for nature. Let's say I choose this image. Now we have directly placed the image inside the frame. Now let's apply effect on it and see what happens. For that I will click here and change its effect to layer blur. I will increase its blur. Now if I take the text tool and write here nature, you can see the text layer also gets blur. So this is the reason we are not applying this directly to the frame. It will blur everything on the layer on which it is applied. Layer blur is also used to create the mesh gradient. For showing that I will again take the frame of size desktop and take a ellipse tool and create a ellipse and change its color to red and copy this ellipse 5 times. Drag the element while holding option key for duplicating the element. Now I will change the hue of each circle. Now I will select the circle and the frame like this and click here to create the mask. Now I will select the ellipse one by one. For that I will hold the shift and select it and click here to add the effect and change its effect from drop shadow to layer blur and increase its blur to let's say 500. So with the help of layer blur we can easily create the mesh gradient. This gradient is also known as aurora gradient. So this is how we create the cool stuff with the help of effects. So these are the examples for layer blur. Now let's understand how background blur works. For that I will again take the frame and place this frame here and add image to it. I will search here for dog. Let's say I choose this image. As name suggests, background blur is used to blur the background. For creating the background blur effect, I will take the rectangle and create a rectangle on top of it and change its fill to white and its opacity to 20%. Now I will click here to add the effect and change its effect from drop shadow to background blur. Now I will change the blur value. Now you can see how easily we can create the blur with the help of background blur. And one more important thing about background blur is it will not work directly on the frame. For showing that I will again take the frame and I will go to the Unsplash plugin and let's say I search for cat. I will choose this cat and suppose if I add effect on it and change this effect from drop shadow to background blur. Now I will increase the blur value. As you can see nothing happens. This image does not get blur. The reason for that is the way background blur works. Background blur simply blurs the background. For using this effect, you need a background separately. You cannot apply effect on the background itself. So this is it. I will wrap up this lecture here. Thank you. Hi there, welcome back. In this lecture, we will learn how export works in Figma. For demonstrating that, we will export the gradient that we have created in previous lecture. For that, I will select the whole frame and click here this plus icon and simply click here to export the image and click here to save. You can see we have successfully exported the image in PNG format. We can also change the export format. For that we will click here and from here we can export it to PNG, JPEG, SVG as well as PDF. From this option we can change the resolution of the image. 1x is for original image. We will get lower resolution if we choose below that, and if we choose above that we will get higher resolution. We can also add the suffix here. For example, let's say I write here Aurora and increase its quality to 2x and change its format to JPEG and click here to export the image. Now you can see we have this image with JPEG format and increased resolution. We can verify it. As you can see, this image has a pixel resolution of 2048 by 2880 while previous image has a resolution of 1024 by 1440. We can also export multiple images together. For demonstrating that, I will select all these three images by holding shift key and click here to export three layers. Let's say I create new folder and rename this folder three images and click here to save. Now you can see we have all these three images inside the folder that we have created. So this is how export works in Figma. Thank you. Hi there, welcome back. In this lecture, we will explore shape tools and we will see properties that are attached to them. Before exploring the shape, we will create a new page. For that, I will click here and rename this page Shapes. For creating the rectangle, simply click here on Shape and click here to take the rectangle. The shortcut for rectangle tool is R. For creating the rectangle, simply click anywhere on the canvas. As you can see on right hand side, we have got all the properties that are attached with rectangle. The x and y values are used to change the position. Below that, we have width and height. We can change the height and width from here. For example, let's say I put the width of 250 and height of 150. From here we can lock the constraint. When we lock the constraint from here, we can change the width and height proportionally. For example, let's say if I put here 500, the height gets automatically changed. The next value is for rotation. We can rotate the rectangle with the help of this option, and while holding shift we can rotate this rectangle with the difference of 15 degree, and this option is used to change the corner radius. We can also change the corner radius individually. Let's say I put here 0 for top left corner, 20 for top right, 10 for bottom right, and 0 for bottom left. So this is how we can manipulate the rectangle. These properties are similar to those of frame which we have learned previously, but there is a major difference between frame and rectangle. We will see that in a second. For now, let's go through the remaining properties. From this option, we can change the fill. By default, the rectangle is filled with gray color. We can also change its fill from solid to gradient or image. We can change the opacity from this option. The next option we have is stroke. We can create the stroke from here and manipulate the stroke properties. These properties work similar that we have learned in previous lecture. We can also add the effect from here. Let's create the shadow and change the shadow color to blue of opacity 40%. So this is how we create the rectangle. Now the very important question is, rectangle looks similar to the frame. Why we can't use the rectangle as a base layer? Why do we have to take the frame? Now let's understand why we can't take the rectangle as a base layer. For demonstrating that, I will take the frame of size 100 by 100 and take the rectangle of size 100 by 100. At first glance, you can say the only difference between these two is that the frame is white and the rectangle is gray. But there is major difference between them. Let's understand that difference. For showing that difference, I will select the frame. If you notice on right hand side, we have similar properties, but we got two more properties, that is layout grid and auto layout. And if I select the rectangle, we get similar properties, but those two properties are missing. And these two properties are very important while designing. We have learned how layout grid is used. We will explore auto layout in detail in upcoming lecture. So this is all about rectangle tool. In this lecture, we have learned how to create the rectangle and we have seen properties that are attached to it, and we have learned the difference between frame and rectangle. So this is it. I will wrap up this lecture here. Thank you. Hi there, welcome back. In this lecture, we will explore the next tool, that is line tool. For taking the line tool, we will click here. The shortcut for line tool is L. For creating the line, simply click and drag in any direction. These two properties are similar. These are used to change the position of the line. And from this property, we can manipulate the width. Or you can say with the help of this property, we can change the length of the line. The next option is for rotation. We can also rotate the line by holding its corner, and for rotating it with the difference of 15 degree, I will press shift and rotate it like this. Let's change this stroke color to maroon and its weight from 1 to 8. And these next two options are used to change the starting and ending point of the line. For example, let's say I change its starting point from none to line arrow and it's into reverse triangle. As you can see, with the help of line tool, we can create the arrow. Let me show you few more examples. For that, I will again take the line tool and press shift while dragging. It will create a straight line by default. Let's change its stroke weight from 1 to 5 and its starting point to circle arrow and its ends to round. So this is how we create the different shapes with the help of line. Line tool is also used to create the icon. For demonstrating that, I will take the frame and click here to create the frame of size 100 by 100 and rename this frame hamburger icon, and click here to add the layout grid and change this grid size from 10 to 20. Now I will take the line tool and create here a line of size 60 and put it here. and change its stroke to 6 and place this with respect to the grid. Take 3 more copies. Hold Option key while dragging to create the copies, and let's change its cap from square to round. So this is how we create the icon with the help of line tool. Let's create one more icon. For that I will again take the frame and create here a frame of size 100 by 100 and give it a layout grid of size 20. Take the line tool from here and create the line of width 60 and arrange it into the center. Increase its stroke from 1 to 4. Now we want to create the directional arrow. For that we need to manipulate this line. For manipulating it, we will simply double click on it and select this point and stretch it like this. And if you think it is fine, simply click here done and arrange it into the center. We can also manipulate this join. For that I will simply select this shape and click here on advanced properties, and from here we can change the join to bevel as well as round. We can change the stroke style and manipulate the stroke properties. I will reverse it to solid. Just like the line tool, there is another tool with the help of which we can directly create the arrow. For exploring that, I will again go to shape tool and select the arrow from here. The shortcut for arrow tool is Shift plus L. For creating the arrow, I will simply click here and drag. As you can see, this tool is an extension of line tool. If you want to create the line directly, we can create with the help of this. All other properties remains the same. We can manipulate its start and end like we have done previously. So this is it. In this lecture, we have learned how to use the line tool and how to create the arrow and different shapes with the help of line tool. Before wrapping up this lecture, let's rename this frame left direction. In next lecture, we will explore the next shape, that is ellipse. Thank you. Hi there, welcome back. In this lecture, we will explore the next shape, that is ellipse. Before creating the ellipse, I will create a new page and rename this page shapes, ellipse and circle. And let's rename previous page to, that is rectangle, line and arrow. We will simply click here and select the ellipse from here. The shortcut for ellipse tool is O. For creating the ellipse, simply click anywhere on the canvas. By default, it will create the ellipse of size 100. The very first property we have is X and Y. As we have learned previously, these values are used to position the object inside the canvas. From this option, we can change the width and height of the ellipse. If the width and height of the ellipse is same, then it is called as circle. If width and height differs, it is called ellipse. In mathematical terms, all kind of circles are ellipse, but all ellipse are not circle. We call circle to only those ellipse which have equal width and height. In another language, you can say we only call the circle to those shapes which have the equal distance from the center. We can say same thing about the rectangle. If all four sides are equal, then it is square. If side differs, it is rectangle. All kind of square is a rectangle, but all rectangles are not square. I hope it is clear now. Now let's understand the next option. The next option is for locking the constraint. If we tick here, we can manipulate the width and height of the ellipse proportionally. The next option is for rotation. For showing that, I will create an ellipse. For that, I will again go to the shape tool and click here to create the circle. For creating the ellipse, I will simply change its width. Now with the help of this option, we can simply rotate the ellipse. We can rotate the circle too, but we will not be able to observe it because the radius is equal in circle. All other options like fill, stroke, effect and export works the same as we have learned previously. There is one cool shortcut for creating the stroke. The shortcut for that is Shift plus X. If I press Shift plus X, it will add the stroke of same color of weight 1. This is very useful shortcut for switching between the fill and stroke. Till now we have learned the basic manipulation of the circle, but there is more thing we can do with the circle. For exploring those options, simply click on this point that is named as arc. As soon as I click and drag it, you can see we have three more options. The very first one is start, the second one is sweep, and the third one is ratio. Let's learn these options in detail one by one. With the help of first option, we can simply change the starting point of the circle. By default, it is 0. With the help of these two properties, we can simply change the sweep and ratio. Remember that these both values are in percentage. For showing that how they work, we will create two more copies. Hold Option and Shift key while dragging. The object will move in straight direction. Now let's understand how these two values work. Let's say I change this sweep value from 87.5% to 50%. As you can see, we got the semicircle. If I put here 25%, you can see we have got quarter of the circle. Basically, sweep percent represents how complete the circle is. For example, if I put here 100%, we get the whole circle. If I put here 70%, we only get the 70% of that circle. If I put the 30%, we get the 30% of that circle. Let's say I put here 5%, we only get the 5% of this circle. So this is how this sweep value works. Let's say I put here 90%. Now we have the 90% of the circle. Now let's understand the next value. For that I will put the sweep value 100%. The next value is also in percentage. If I put here 50%, it will punch the circle from the center. As you can see, now the circle is hollow from the center. 50% simply says that 50% of the area of the circle has been removed from the center. If I put here 90%, that means 90% of the area of the circle has been removed from the center. Let's say I put here 10%, it means 10% of the area of the circle has been removed from the center. So this is how these three value works. I have explained it independently so you don't get confused. You can also manipulate these values with the help of these points. The first one is sweep, the second one is ratio, and the third one is start. With the help of these 3 points, you can easily manipulate the circle and create the amazing shapes. So this is it. I will wrap up this lecture here. Thank you. Hi there, welcome back. In this lecture, we will explore the next shape that are polygon and star. Before exploring that, we will create a new page and rename this page Shapes, Polygon and Star. For creating the polygon, we will click here on Shape Tools and select the polygon and click anywhere on the canvas. By default, it will create the polygon of size 100 pixel. Let's explore the properties that are attached with the polygon. As you can see, the very first property we have is x and y value. From this value, we can change its position. The next two values are for changing the width and height. We can also lock the constraint from here. When we lock the constraint and change its value, the size of the polygon will be increased in proportion. The next option we have is rotation, and if we hold the shift, we can rotate the polygon with the difference of 15 degree. Next value is used to change the corner radius. The next value is used to change the side count. By default it is 3. We can increase its count. The maximum value we can put here is 60 and the minimum value we can put here is 3. The rest of the option works similar. We can change the fill from here. We can also change its fill from solid to gradient or image, and with the help of Shift plus X we can easily switch between the stroke and fill. We can also manipulate the count with the help of this point, and with the help of this second point we can manipulate the corner radius. So this is how we create the polygon. The next tool we have is star tool. It is basically used to create the star. For demonstrating that, I will click here on Shape Tools and take the star and click anywhere on the canvas. Let's change its fill from gray to violet and change its height from 100 to 200. Properties like width and height, position, rotation and corner radius work similar, but with the star shape we got two more properties. Let's explore them. The very first property is count and the second property is ratio. With the help of first property, we can change the star count. Let's say I put here 10. Now you can see we have the star of count 10. The next property is used to change the ratio. If we decrease the percentage value, the spikes will get thinner, and if we increase the percentage value, the spike will get thicker. The maximum value we can put here is 100% and the minimum value we can put here is 0.1%. Let's create an amazing shape with the help of star and polygon tool. For that, I will again take the polygon and create the polygon of size 200 and change its count to 10. Now I will select the star and put it on the top of polygon. While holding the star, I will right click and click here to bring this layer to front. Now I will select the star and the polygon and arrange it into the center. After that, I will select the polygon and press Shift plus X to give it a stroke of 1 and change its color to violet. So this is how we can create amazing shapes with the help of these two tools. We can also manipulate the star shapes by points. For demonstrating that, I will again create the star. As you can see, we have 3 points here. The first point is for changing the radius, the second one is for ratio, and the third one is for count. We can easily manipulate these three values with the help of these points. So this is it. I will wrap up this lecture here. Thank you. The next and last option inside the shape tool is place image. Basically, this option is used to place the image directly inside the object. For demonstrating this option, we will download an image. For that, we will go to the Google and search for Unsplash, and I will search here flower. Let's say I download this image. Now we will move back to Figma and click here on shape tool and click here to place the image, and we will select this image that we have downloaded and click here to open. Now I will click anywhere on the canvas. As you can see, it has directly placed the image on the canvas. Let's reduce its size to 200. So this is how this option works. With the help of this option, we can directly place the image inside any shape. For demonstrating that, I will create the polygon. I will press Shift Command plus K. Shift Command plus K is the shortcut for placing the image. For Windows, the shortcut key is Control Shift plus K. I will select the image from here and I will click on the shape to place the image. For cropping this image, there is a cool shortcut. Hold the Option key and double click on it. It will directly leads you to crop option, and with the help of this crop option, we can easily crop the image. So this is it. I will wrap up this lecture here. Thank you. Hi there, welcome back. In this lecture, we will see how alignment tool works in Figma. Before exploring the alignment tool, I will create a new page and rename this page Alignment Tools. For explaining the alignment tool, I will take the frame, and from shape tool, I will take the ellipse and click here to create the ellipse. I will change its color to red. We have this shape ellipse 1 inside the desktop frame. Now let's understand how the alignment tool works. The very first alignment option we have is align left. With the help of this option, we can align the element to the left. The next option is for aligning the element to the horizontal center. The next option is for aligning the shape to the right. Basically, this shape is aligning with respect to the frame. The next option is for aligning to the top. The next option is for aligning the element to the vertical center, and the next option is for aligning it to bottom. So this is how we can align the element with the help of alignment tool. As you can see, we have more options. These options only work when we have more than one element. For demonstrating that, I will create 3 more copies by holding Option key and put these here, and I will change their color. And when we select all the circle, you can see now we are able to use this option. We have 3 options here. The first one is tidy up, the next option is for distributing the vertical spacing, and the last option is for distributing the horizontal spacing. These all 4 circles are placed in horizontal way, so we can use this last option here. We can also increase or decrease the space with the help of this option. I will place these circles here, and while selecting all these 4 circles, I will take one more copy by holding Option key and arrange these in vertical direction. Now I will select all 4 circles, and with the help of this option, we can distribute the vertical spacing. We can also manipulate the spacing between them from here. Let's align these 4 circles into the straight line. For that, I will click here. The next option we have is tidy up. For demonstrating that, I will create few random copies. Now I will select all these randomly placed circle and click here to tidy up. So basically the way tidy up option works, Figma tries to place the all selected shapes in best possible way. So this is how alignment panel works. There is one more important thing about alignment is when we align the element that is placed on the top of frame, we don't need to select the both. For example, let me show you. Suppose I want to align this circle to the rightmost. I will simply select this circle and click here. It will automatically align to the rightmost with respect to the frame. But we cannot perform the same operation if we don't have frame as a base layer. Let me explain that with the help of rectangle. I will click here to create the rectangle, and let's say I change its dimension to 800. and change this fill to white. I will again create the ellipse and change this fill from gray to blue. Suppose we want to align this circle with respect to the rectangle, but you can see the alignment panel is grayed out. We cannot align directly. For aligning this shape with respect to the another shape, we need to select both. For that, I will select this shape, and while holding shift, I will select the rectangle too. Now you can see we can easily align the circle with respect to the rectangle. So this is it. I will wrap up this lecture here. Thank you. Hi there, welcome back. In this lecture, we will learn how to create the vector shapes with the help of pen tool. But before that, let's understand the difference between raster and vector graphics. Basically, raster graphics are pixel based, while the vector graphics are composed of path and lines. The example for raster graphic is photographs, and the example for vector graphic is illustration and logo. The file extension for raster graphic are JPEG, GIF, and TIF, while the file extension for vector graphics are SVG, PDF, and AI. As we have understood that raster graphics are pixel based and vector graphics are made up of line and paths, the main difference between these two is that when we scale or zoom a raster graphic, it will lose quality, but if we scale or zoom the vector graphics, it will not lose the quality. This is the reason why the illustration and logo are exported in SVG format. Now let's quickly move to Figma and create few shapes and learn how to use the pen tool. Before creating the vector shapes, I will click here and create a new page and rename this page vector shapes pen and pencil tool. For creating the vector shape, I will take a pen tool, but before that I will take the frame and create the frame of size 500. For taking the pen tool, I will click here on drawing tool and take the pen tool from here. The shortcut key for pen tool is P. For creating the vector shape, I will simply click here. As soon as I click here, we got more options on the toolbar. We will explore it in a second. For creating the shape, I will drag the mouse like this and click here. And click here done to get out of the vector editing mode. You need to remember two very important shortcut key while dealing with pen tool. The one is escape key and another one is enter. When you select any shape and hit enter, you will get into the vector editing mode, and if you hit escape key, you will get out of the vector editing mode. And with the help of pen tool, we can easily manipulate the shape like this. I will put this here. Let's create curve shape with the help of pen tool. For that, I will again take the pen tool and click here to create one point and click here to create the second. For creating the curve, I will simply drag the mouse while holding the second point. As you can see, the curve has been created and we have got this handlebar. With the help of this handlebar, we can manipulate the curve. Let me increase the curve stroke. I will put this shape here and hit enter to get out of the vector editing mode. Let's understand how the mirroring works. For that, I will again take the pen tool and create the curve with the help of pen tool. If you notice on right hand side on vector panel, by default mirror angle is selected. That simply means if I select this handle and change it, the curve on both sides will change simultaneously. If I change this to no mirroring and select this handle, we can change the curve on single side. The next and last option is mirror angle and length. If you select this and try to manipulate the shape, it will mirror angle and length simultaneously. So this is how pen tool is used. Let's create few shapes using pen tool. For that, I will take the frame of size 500 and place this frame here and press shift plus 1 for zoom to fit and take the pen tool and let's say I create a home icon. At the toolbar panel, we have two options. The one is bend tool and another one is bent bucket. With the help of bend tool, we can simply bend the shape like this. And with the help of bent bucket, we can simply fill the color inside the shape. Let's say I change its color from gray to blue and this one to red and this one to maroon. Now let's see how you can manipulate the shape with the help of pen tool. For that, I will take the ellipse tool and create here ellipse and change its color to blue and change its size to let's say 200. Now while selecting the shape, Hit enter to get into the vector editing mode, and with the help of these points you can easily create the custom shapes. Let's create few more shapes. For that I will again take the ellipse and change its color to red and increase its size to 200. You can also click here to get into the vector editing mode, and with the help of these points you can easily create the custom shapes. Let's create one more shape for practice. For that I will simply copy this frame by holding option key and delete this shape. For that I will press delete key. For creating a new shape I will again take the pen tool, and let's say we want to create trophy icon. For that I will create a line like this and hit enter to get out of the vector editing mode. Just increase its stroke width from 1 to 10. Take one more copy. For that I will hold the option and shift key together. Now I will flip it with the help of shortcut shift plus H. Shift plus H is the shortcut for flipping the object in horizontal direction. If you want to flip the object in vertical direction, press shift plus V. I will undo this. On layer panel you can see we have vector 6 and vector 5 as an independent path. For joining them together I will click here and click here to flatten the selection. Now those two independent path has been converted into the single shape. So this is how we create symmetrical shape with the help of pen tool. Now let's understand the next tool, that is pencil tool. For that I will create one more copy and delete this shape and click here to take the pencil tool. The shortcut key for pencil tool is shift plus P. Basically pencil tool works similar to the pen tool, but pencil tool is a freehand tool. That means we can write freely with the help of this tool. For example, let's say I write here English alphabet. So this is it. I will wrap up this lecture here. Thank you. Hi there, welcome back. In this lecture we will learn about Boolean operation, and we will see how to use the Boolean operation to combine the shapes. But before that, let's understand what is Boolean operation and what are the types of it. Basically Boolean operation is used to combine the multiple shape into the single shape. When we combine the shape with the help of Boolean operation, it behaves as a single shape layer and shares the fill and stroke properties. There are basically four types of Boolean operation, that are union, subtract, intersect and exclude. Let's understand what are the differences between these four. We will understand it through practical example. For that we will move to Figma. Before creating a Boolean shape, I will create a new page. For that I will click here and rename this page Boolean operations. We will understand the Boolean operation with the help of example. For that I will take the ellipse tool and create here a ellipse of size 100 and change this fill from gray to red and give it a stroke of 4. I will take one more copy. For that I will hold the option and shift key and let's change its fill from red to blue. I will take 4 more copies for explaining all the operation. Let's say I put here union. Let's change this font from 12 to 24 and take one more copy and put here subtract. This one is for intersect and the last one is for exclude. Now we will perform each operation one by one. For that I will select these two shapes and click here to union the selection. As you can see, now we have the union of two shapes, and on layer panel you can see we have the union, and inside that we have ellipse 4 and ellipse 3. So basically these two shapes exist but they have been merged in single shape. If I select this whole layer and try to increase its size, as you can see it behaves as a single shape. I will undo this. Now I will select the second shape and click here to perform the next operation, that is subtract selection. As you can see in subtract operation, the top layer has been subtracted from the base layer. Now let's understand the next operation, that is intersect operation. For that I will select this and click here. Basically intersect operation keeps the overlapping part of the two shapes. The next operation we have is exclude. For showing that I will select these two shapes and click here and perform the exclude operation. As you can see it is the opposite of intersect. It has removed the overlapping part. Now let's understand how this Boolean operation behave if we change the stacking order. For showing that I will put the blue circle behind the red circle. For that I will select the blue circle and right click on it and click here to send it back. Now we have red circle as a top layer. Now I will create 4 copies by holding option and shift key. Now let's perform each operation one by one. For that I will select these two shapes and click here to union the selection. Let's understand the next example. For that I will select it and click here to perform the subtract. As you can see, it has subtracted the top layer from the base layer. The next operation we have is intersect. For showing that I will select this shape and click here to perform the intersect operation. As you can see, this operation has kept the overlapping part and the color of this overlapping part is red because we have red layer as a top layer in this example. Let's perform the next operation, that is exclude. So basically exclude is the opposite of intersect. It has removed the common part. I have taken these many examples to show you all possible combination. I hope it is clear now how Boolean operation works and how does it behave if layers are interchanged. So this is it. I will wrap up this lecture here. Thank you. Hi there, welcome back. In this lecture we will learn how text tool works in Figma. But before that we will go through the basics of typography and we will see importance of it. Basically, typography is an art and technique of arranging the text to make it visually appealing and readable. As you can see in the example, we have same text on both sides. The article on right hand side is more readable and visual appealing because of text hierarchy. Through this example, you can understand the importance of typography and how the user perceives the text while reading. Now let's understand the difference between typeface and font. Basically, a typeface is a set of design feature for letters. For example, Roboto, Montserrat, Nunito, and Rubik are the example of typefaces, while the variation in the weight and size of the typeface is known as fonts. Let's understand one more important feature of typography, that is serif and sans serif. So basically the typefaces that have decorative stroke are known as serif font, while the typefaces that have no decorative stroke are known as sans serif. Here I have listed a few very popular serif and sans serif typefaces. As you can see, the example for serif typefaces are Roboto, Slab, Meriwether, Playfair, Laura, and so on. And the example for sans serifs are Open Sans, Lato, Railway, Work Sans, Carla. As you can see, these serif typefaces have stroke, while the sans serif typefaces have no strokes. Serif typefaces are generally used in print media, while sans serif typefaces are used in web or app design. But there is no restriction for using serif typefaces for web or app design. While designing website or app, you can pair serif and sans serif if you think there is a necessity. For example, you can take the serif typeface for heading and sans serif typeface for paragraph or body. But make sure you never overdo the typefaces. For example, never take the multiple typefaces for the single website. That will reduce the readability and spoil the user experience. Let me show you one amazing resource for choosing the typeface. For that, I will go to Google and search for Google Fonts and I will click here fonts.google.com. This is the amazing website for choosing typefaces. You can also filter the typefaces according to their category. Let's say I only want sans serif. I will untick all this and I will write here hello world. We can also explore the fonts for these typefaces. For example, if I click on Open Sans, you can see we have multiple font variation. So always try to choose the typeface that have multiple fonts. That will give you freedom while designing. Now we will quickly move to Figma and learn how text tool works and we will see how to create the typography. Before exploring the text tool, we will create a new page. For that, I will click here and rename this page typography. And I will take a frame of size desktop, and for taking the text tool I will click here. The shortcut for text tool is T. Let's say I write here the quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog. As you can see on layer panel, we have the text properties that are attached with this text. Let's explore each property one by one. The very first option is for changing the typeface. We can choose any typeface from here. We can use all the typefaces that we have explored on the Google Fonts. For that, we just have to type the typeface name. For example, let's say I type here Poppins. The next two options are for changing the font weight and font size. Let's say I change its font weight from regular to medium and its font weight from 12 to 24. We can also put the font size manually. Let's say I put here 36. The next option is for changing the line height. For explaining this option, we need more than one line. For that, I will copy this line by Command and C and paste it here 3 times. Now we have 4 lines. With the help of this option, we can simply increase or decrease the line height between them. I will put here auto The next option is for changing the letter spacing. With the help of this option, we can change the spacing between the characters. The next option we have is paragraph spacing. For explaining that, we need a paragraph. For creating that, I will move this text here, and I will again take a text tool and create a text layer. Basically, text layer is used to write a text in a specific dimension. Let's say I write here, the quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog. I will copy it and paste it here. I will copy it once again and paste it here. I will increase the text area. Now with the help of this option, we can simply increase the paragraph spacing. Now the next option we have is auto width, auto height and fixed size. We will see it in a second. For now, we will understand the next option, that is text align. Basically, with the help of these options, we can align the text. By default, it is left. We can align it to center as well as right. I will revert it to left align. The next option is for aligning the text in vertical direction. For explaining this, I will increase the text area and reduce its text size to 24. As you can see, by default, align top is selected. We can align the text to the middle, and the next option is for aligning the text to the bottom. Now let's understand the auto width, auto height and fixed size. Before explaining that, I will reduce this text area and put this text here, and I will again take the text tool and let's say I write here hello world. As you can see, by default auto width is selected. That simply means when I type here, the width of the text area will increase automatically, and if I change it from auto width to auto height, the text will obey the height of the text area. The next option is for fixed size. If I click here, the text area would remain fixed but the text would overflow. You can also truncate the text inside the text area. For that, simply click here on type setting and change the resizing from fixed size to truncate. As you can see, the text is confined into this text area. Now I will place this text here. Let's understand few advanced properties of the text. For that, I will again take the text tool and write here hello world. And I will change its font from 24 to 36. And for exploring the advanced type setting, I will click here. We have explored the properties like resizing, alignment, paragraph spacing. Let's understand this decoration. From this option, you can underline the text or you can also strike through the text. You can also change the list style from here. By default, it is none. You can change it to bullet list or number list. You can also change the letter case. By default, it is as typed. We can change it to uppercase, lowercase, as well as title case or small caps. There is one advanced property for customizing the font weight, but that property is not available with this typeface. For showing that, we will take the another typeface. For that, I will again take the text tool and let's say I write here hello world. And I will change it typeface from Poppins to Rubik, and I will click here on type setting and click here on variable. So basically, with the help of this option, we can easily change the font weight. We can also change the font weight from here, but if we want the custom font weight, we can change it from here. So this is how text tool works in Figma. So this is it. I will wrap up this lecture here. Thank you. Hi there, welcome back. In this section, we are going to learn the three pillars of Figma, and we are going to see why Figma stands out from all other designing tools. So let's understand why Figma has become most popular choice for designers. So those three most important features of Figma are auto layout, component and variant. We are going to learn all these features from absolute scratch, and we are going to see how they work under hood and what problem they are actually solving. We will learn them through different examples because features like auto layout have multiple use cases. So let's quickly move into Figma and explore auto layout. I will click here to create a new design file, and I will rename this file auto layout components and variant. So for explaining the auto layout, I will go to the shape tool and take the ellipse and create the ellipse of size 100 by 100. On layer panel, you can see we have ellipse 1. Now let's change its color from gray to blue and add auto layout to it. For adding auto layout, simply right click on it and click here. The shortcut for adding auto layout is Shift plus A. As soon as we add auto layout to an element, on left hand side you can see our element is placed inside the frame 1. And the symbol for the auto layout is these three bars. Now let's understand how this auto layout works. So the very basic thing that auto layout does, it simply puts the element inside the frame. So let's explore the property that attach with the frame. On right hand side on design panel, you can see we have got this auto layout options. So let's explore how these option works. But before exploring that, let's give it a fill of color white. We can give it a fill because this is a frame now. Now let's see how this auto layout option works. So the very first option that we are going to learn is horizontal padding and vertical padding. So these two options are just for increasing and decreasing the padding around the element. So let's say I want to increase the horizontal padding. So I will increase the value, and you can see the horizontal padding around the shape is 60 on both sides. And second option is for increasing and decreasing the vertical padding. So let's say I increase it to 40. You can see the padding on both sides is 40. You can see this little symbol. This little symbol represent that this value will increase or decrease the padding on horizontal side, and this symbol represent the padding will be increased or decreased on vertical side. You can also increase and decrease the padding just by double clicking on it. You can change the value manually. So let's say I put here 80. You can see now the padding on left hand side is 60 and the padding on right hand side is 80. You can also increase and decrease the padding like this. And if you want to change the padding on both sides equally, just hold the option key and click here. Let's say I put 100. You can see the padding has applied on both sides equally. The other way of increasing or decreasing the padding is you can also select this little pink bar. You can increase and decrease the padding like this. And for changing the padding on all sides equally, just hold the option and shift, and when you select here, you can change the padding on every side at once. And if you want to change this padding individually, simply click here and you can change the padding on each side manually. So these four values are just for providing the padding around the element. So let's understand how this alignment works. By default, top left alignment is selected. So let's change its alignment to top center. But you can see nothing happens. The reason for that is we haven't changed its size. So let's increase the size of the frame. Now when I change the alignment, you can see it is working. By using this alignment tool, we can align the element anywhere inside the auto layout frame. So let's say I put this element into the center. Now when I increase and decrease the frame, you can see the circle behaves according to the frame. So let's say I place the circle on the top left. Now when I change the frame size, you can see the circle is aligned at top left. So this is how this alignment and padding option works. In next example, we will learn how these option works. And one more thing that you need to understand is when we apply the auto layout to an element, the element behaves according to the auto layout frame. So what I'm trying to explain you is when I select the element on which I have applied the auto layout frame, you can see we don't get those options. Actually, those options are embedded with this frame one. So don't get ever confused. We apply the auto layout to the element, but it behaves according to the parent frame, that is auto layout frame. In next lecture, we will explore these options with new examples. Thank you. Hi there, welcome back. So let's understand how those remaining feature works. For that, I will create the next example. I will zoom out a little bit and take the ellipse of size 100 and give this a stroke of 4. Let's change its color from gray to red and create 3 more copies by holding option key. Let's rename this frame first, that is example 1. And now let's select all the circle and add auto layout to it. And before adding auto layout, remember this order. Here ellipse 5, 4, 3, 2. But when we add the auto layout to it, it will be placed inside the frame and order would be 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is one important thing about auto layout. When you give auto layout to the multiple element, it will arrange them sequentially. Now let's understand how this property works. But before explaining this property, let's add fill to it and give this a padding of 10 from both sides. So by default it is currently in horizontal direction. You can change its direction to vertical, and on layer panel if you notice, you can see the direction of this icon is changed. This option is just for changing the spacing between them. So from here we can change the spacing. You can also give the negative spacing to it. For showing that, let's change the color of these elements. Now I will select the auto layout frame and change its direction. And for providing the negative spacing, we will just reduce the spacing between them to negative. You can see now they are stacked on the top of each other. And if you want to change the stacking order, for example, the yellow is on the front and red is on the bottom, let's reverse it. For that, I will click here and change its canvas stacking from last on top to first on top. By default, last on top is selected, but let's reverse the order to first on top. And you can see now the first element is on the top. So this is how negative spacing and stacking work. Now let's understand these options. For that, I will change the spacing between them is 100. Suppose if I increase the frame, you can see these elements are not behaving according to the parent frame. I will undo this. For that, I will press Command and G. I will click here on Advanced Layout Setting and change its spacing mode. By default, spacing mode is packed. I will change it to space between. You can also see in preview. Now when I increase the frame, the space between these elements will be auto. So let's see how this works. Now when I select the frame and increase it, you can see the spacing between them is equal and they are behaving according to the auto layout frame. And instead of the numeric value, you can see the auto is applied here. So this is how spacing mode work. If you change to pack, it will not behave according to the main frame, and if you choose the space between, it will behave according to the layout frame. Now let's understand how the stroke works. For that, I will select the frame and give it a stroke of 8. I will zoom in little bit, select the main frame and give it a vertical padding of 50. Now you can see it is 50 on both sides. This 50 value is calculated from the edge of the shape to the outer edge of the stroke. And if you don't want that, simply change it from excluded to included. Now it will be calculated from the edge of the shape to the inner edge of the stroke. So this is how stroke works. So in this lecture we have learned the advanced feature of auto layout, that is spacing mode, stroke and canvas stacking, and we have explored all these options and how they work. We haven't learned how the text based alignment works. We will learn this in the next example. Thank you. Hi there, welcome back. In this lecture, we will create the next example and see next use case of auto layout. Before that, let's rename this frame example 2. So let's create the button with the help of auto layout. For that, I will take the text tool and write here home and change the text from 12 to 24 and add auto layout to it and add fill to it, and let's change its horizontal padding from 10 to 40 and its vertical padding to 16 and give this a corner radius of 10 and change its name from frame 1 to example 3. Let's change its color from white to blue and its text color from black to white. Now we have a button that we have created with the help of auto layout. Now we want to place the icon here. For that, we will go to the feather icon and search for home, and let's choose this icon and let's put this icon here. You can see when I move the icon inside this frame, the icon is automatically placed. The reason for that is we have applied the auto layout frame and by default horizontal direction is selected. You can also change it to vertical direction, but we don't want that. Let's undo this. Now if you zoom in, you will notice that this text and this icon is not aligned properly. For aligning this, select the auto layout frame and click here. Now it is in the center, and suppose you don't want to align it like that. You want to align this text and the icon with respect to the bottom. For that, select the auto layout frame and click here on advanced layout setting and tick this text baseline alignment. Now if you notice, the icon and text is aligned with respect to their base. So let's undo this. Let's change this icon color from black to white. So in this lecture, we have learned how to create the button with the help of auto layout and how to align the icon with respect to the text bottom or with respect to the auto layout frame. In next lecture, we will explore the one more property of auto layout with another example. Thank you. Hi there, welcome back. In this lecture, we will learn the next use case of auto layout. For that, I will create an icon with notification bar. For creating that, I will take the frame of size 100 by 100 and convert this frame into the auto layout. For that, I will select the frame and add auto layout to it. Now you can see this frame has been converted into the auto layout, and let's rename this to example 4. Let's put the icon inside this frame. Let's choose this icon and place this here. As soon as I have put the icon inside the frame, you can see the auto layout frame has automatically adjusted according to the content. So this is also one benefit of auto layout, that auto layout behaves according to the content. Now let's give corner radius to it. And suppose we want to put here a badge. For that, we will create the notification badge. Let's reduce its size to 10. For that, I will lock the constraint and change it to 10. Change its color from gray to red. Now I want to put this circle here. But there is a problem. We are not able to put this icon here. The reason for that is we have applied the auto layout to the parent frame. That's why these elements are behaving according to that. For placing this icon on the top right corner, we need to use the absolute positioning. For providing the absolute positioning, we will select this notification badge and click here. Now you can see when I move it inside this frame, it is not following the auto layout rule. But on layer panel, you can see this badge is placed inside the auto layout frame. So this is how we use the absolute positioning. When we provide absolute positioning to any element, we can place anywhere inside the auto layout frame. So in this lecture, we have learned how absolute positioning works with auto layout. In next lecture, we will create the card and learn content properties that are attached with auto layout. Thank you. Hi there, welcome back. In this lecture, we will create the card and we will learn few more properties that is attached with auto layout. For creating the card, I will take the frame and create the frame of size 500 by 400. And let's rename this frame example 5. Now I will take the text tool and write here hello world, and I will create one more copy and write here the quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog, and let's reduce its size to 16. And I will take the text tool and let's create one button here, that is read more. And for creating the button, let's add auto layout to it and add the background fill of color blue and give this a border radius of 10 and horizontal padding 20 and vertical padding 16. And let's change its color from black to white. Now let's add auto layout to the whole frame. But before that, one thing you can notice, if I have not applied the auto layout and when I select the text, you can see we don't get any options. Now let's apply the auto layout to the main frame. For that, I will select the frame and click here to add the auto layout. And now these texts are behaving with respect to the auto layout. You can also change the direction from here, but let's say we want the vertical direction. And now when I select the text, you can see we have these two options, that is horizontal resizing and the second one is vertical resizing. By default, horizontal and vertical resizing are hug, and when I click here, you can see we have three more options. Let's choose fixed width and understand how fixed width works. Now when I resize the frame horizontally, you can see the width of the content is fixed. It is not behaving with respect to the frame. So this is how fixed width and fixed height works. Now let's make this responsive. For that, I will change its property from fixed width to fill container, and I will change the property of these two. Now if I resize the frame, you can see these text are responsive now. Now let's make this button responsive too. For that, I will select the button and change its property to fill container, and let's put the text into the center. Now when I resize the frame horizontally, these three elements will behave in responsive manner. But when I resize the frame in vertical direction, you can see these elements are not responsive. So let's make them. For that, let's select the button and change its property from hug content to fill container, and let's select the text and change its property from hug content to fill container. Now when I select the frame and resize it, you can see now the elements are responsive, but there is a problem with button. So let's fix that. For that, we will select the button and change its property from fill container to fix height. Now when we resize it, its height would be fixed. So let's see how that works. Now you can see these three elements are responsive. So this is how we create the responsive design with the help of AutoLayout. For making the design responsive, we have to use the AutoLayout smartly, and we need to change the property of each element according to the requirement. We can also create the responsive button with the help of AutoLayout. For that, I will copy this button and change it text. And for making this button responsive, change its vertical and horizontal resizing to hug content. And let's create two more copies. Now when I change it text, you can see the button is responsive. We don't need to adjust its padding every time. So this is also one use case of AutoLayout. So remember that AutoLayout is a very powerful feature in Figma that is used for different design requirements. So till now we have explored all the feature of AutoLayout. In upcoming projects we will see more different use cases of AutoLayout. Thank you. Hi there, welcome back. In this lecture we will learn how component works. So components are basically elements you can reuse across your design. They help to create and manage consistent design across the project. You can create the component from any layers or object you have designed. This could be whole range of things like button, icon, layout and more. For understanding the component, we will create the button. For that, I will click here and create new page and rename this page components. Now let's rename this page auto layout. For creating the button, I will take the text tool and write here text and add auto layout to it. The shortcut for adding auto layout is shift plus A, and let's give it a fill of color blue and increase its horizontal padding to 40 and vertical padding to 16, and let's give corner radius to 10, and let's rename this frame button and change its color from black to white, and let's convert this button into the component. For that, simply select the button and click here. As soon as you click here on layer panel, you can see this layer is converted into the violet, and if I take the copy of it by holding the option key, this second button is called as child component. You can see the symbol for master component is 4 diamond symbol, and the symbol for child component is this hollow diamond symbol. So this main button is a master component and this one is the child component, or you can call this button instance of the main component. Now let's change its color from blue to red, and the reason that this component is a child component, if we perform any change on master component, it will be reflected on the child component. For example, if I select the master component and change the typeface from enter to Laura, you can see I have changed the typeface of the master component, but simultaneously the change is also reflected into the child component, or you can say instance of the master component. Now let's create one more copy. Change its color from red to pink, and let's take the frame, and if you want to use this component, we just have to go to the asset panel, and from here you can see we have all the component that we have converted into the master component. So I can drag it from here and I can change its value to login, and let's drag the button once more and change it text to hello. So you can see how component is useful. With the help of component, we can simply create the UI element once and we can reuse it many times. Let's convert this child component into the master component so I can show you how instance works. For that, I will select the button and click here. The keyboard shortcut for creating the component is Option plus Command plus K, and for Windows, Control plus Alt plus K. Now when I go to asset panel, you can see we have these three buttons that we have converted into the master component, and if I drag the button from here and let's change this text to hello world. Now with the help of instance, we can easily change its color. For that, we have to simply click here and you can see we can easily change the instance from here. So this is one benefit of creating the component, that we can create the component at once and we can reuse them. So this is how component works. In next lecture, we will learn variant and we will see what problem does variant solves. Thank you. Hi there, welcome back. In this lecture, we will learn how variant works. We will learn the variant through the example. For creating the example, I will take the text tool and create here a button, and let's say this is text, and for creating the button I will add auto layout to it and give this a fill of color white with the horizontal padding 40 and vertical padding 16, and let's change this corner radius to 10 and change it typeface from LoRa to railway medium, and let's rename this frame button, and let's give it a stroke of 1, and let's convert this button into the component. So you can see it is component now. Suppose we have this one button and we want to create its variant. So for creating its variant, we can create the copy and change its properties. But there is one problem with that approach. Suppose if I want the 100 variant of this button, it will populate the asset panel with the 100 different kind of button. So we don't take that approach. What we will do, we will select this button and click here again to create its one more variant, and let's rename this variant dark, and let's change its color from white to black and change its text color from black to white. Now you can see inside this button layer we have these two buttons. The one is default, the another one is dark. So these two buttons are not separate. These two buttons are variant under the same layer. So let's create one more variant so we can see the difference clearly. Let's change its color to blue and remove its fill, and let's rename this variant to main color, and let's create one more variant. You can also click here to add the variant, and let's change its property from variant 4 to disabled button, and let's change its color from blue to gray and its text color from white to little bit gray. Let's rename this from default to light. So we have the button with the four variant, that is light, dark, main color and disabled. Now the main beauty of variant is when we go to asset panel, you can see we haven't populated the asset panel. We have only one button that we have converted into the master component, and if I drag this button here and let's change the text from text to sign up. Let's again drag the button and change the text to login. And for changing the button theme, we have to simply click here and change it from light to dark. So you can see with the help of variant how easily we can create the UI elements with different themes. And let's explore other two remaining variants. For that, I will again drag the button and change it text to click here and change its variant from light to main color. Let's drag the button one more time and change the text to don't click here and change its variant from light to disabled. So this is how variant work. With the help of variant, we can easily create the UI element with different theme without populating the asset panel. This may seem trivial here, but variant feature is very useful when we have to design UI element with multiple variants in organized way. So in this section, we have learned the three main foundation of Figma, that is auto layout, component and variants. In upcoming section, we will create the project using all the features and tools that we have learned. Thank you. Hi there, welcome back. In this lecture, we are going to learn about component properties. Till now, we have learned about auto layout, component and variant with the help of multiple examples. In this lecture, we will learn more about component properties. With the help of component properties, we can define the changeable part of the component. There are basically four component properties. The one is variant that we already know. The second one is Boolean. The third one is instance swap, and fourth one is text. We will see use case of each component properties. For demonstrating that, we will quickly go to the Figma and click here to create a new design file, and let's rename this file component properties. We will understand component properties by creating the button with multiple variant. For creating the button, I will take the text tool and let's say I write here text. I will increase its size from 12 to 24 and add auto layout to it. For adding the auto layout, I will press Shift plus A. On left hand side, as you can see, this text has been placed into the frame 1, that is auto layout, and on right hand side we get the auto layout properties. Let's give it a background fill of gray color and change its text from black to white. Let's give it a horizontal padding of 24 pixel and vertical padding of 16 pixel. And let's give it a corner radius of 10. Let's rename this frame button. So as of now it is a simple button with auto layout. Now we will convert it to the component for usability purpose. For that I will simply click here. As soon as we convert it to component, three things happen. The first one is the layer color gets changed to the purple with this diamond symbol, and on right hand side we get two more changes. The first one represents the component details and the next one is properties. Let's change its name from button to, let's say, dynamic button. You can also put more details. The next option is properties, and if I click here you can see we have four properties. The one is variant, the second one is boolean, the third one is instance, and the fourth one is text. Instead of adding the variant from here, I will click here to add the variant, and I will rename this variant hover state. And instead of property 1, let's say this is state of button. Let's change its color, and let's rename first one to default state. To show the properties detail, I will select the whole component, and on right hand side you can see under the properties panel we have the first property, state of button with this single diamond symbol. If you want to edit this property, we will simply click here and we can change the name from here and values from here. Let's assume we want to use this component on actual design. For that I will take the frame and go to the asset panel, and I will drag this component from here. Let's arrange it into the center. So by default the state of the button is default state. We can change it to hover state 2. We are able to do this because we have added variant properties on the main component. Let's say we want to go to the main component to see the all properties. We will simply click here. As you can see, it returns to the main component. In this design file, these both are on the same page, but in real world, generally components are placed on the different pages. That's why this feature is very useful. We can simply go to the main component by single click, no matter where the main component has been placed inside the design file. Now we'll move forward and learn about next component property, that is instance swap. In this example, we will use instance swap to create a button with swappable icons. For creating that, we need the icons. For that, we'll go to the community and install the phosphor icon plugin. I will close this file and again go to the plugin and click here to run this plugin. This is very cool plugin for icons. Let's import few icons from here. You can also use plugins like feather icons or iconify. I have to show you all the popular plugins. That's why I am using different plugins for different scenarios. Now I will select all the icon. Instead of creating the single component, I will click here to create the multiple components. We will see in a second why we are doing this. Now I will press Shift plus A to add the auto layout, and I will align them horizontally. Let's give it a background fill and reduce the spacing between them to 16. And let's rename this frame icon set. So basically we have imported these icons and converted them to the component, and after that we have placed into the auto layout frame. These steps are very important in order to create the swappable icons. Now I will select this icon and hold option key and drag the instance of this icon to the button. As you can see on the layer panel, we have placed the instance of the icon component. Let's increase this area to fit the buttons properly. We can also drag the instance of the icon from here. Either we can duplicate it by holding option key or we can drag it from asset panel. Now I will select the icon and click here to select all the matching layers. In this example, these icons are matching layer. After selecting these icons, I will click here to add instance swap property. Let's give it a meaningful name. Let's say this is change icons and leave the value as it is. We have selected the icon manually and click here to create the property. After adding this property, you will see this purple pill on right hand side. This simply means this component has a property of name change icons. Now I will select the whole component. As you can see, we have one more property, that is change icon with this outline diamond symbol. Now we will go to the asset panel and drag the button from here. Let's arrange it into the center. Now we have two property. The first one is state of button, that we already know, and the second property is change icons. From here we can easily change icons. As you can see, all swappable icons are placed into the folder name icon set. This is the reason we placed the icons over the auto layout frame previously. Instead of prefer, I will choose local components. Local components means the components that are available in this design file. As you can see how easily we can change the icons without creating multiple variants. So this is the beauty of component property. Now we will move forward and understand next component property, that is text. For understanding that property, I will select these two text and click here to create text property. I will leave the name as it is and let's say this is dummy text. I will click here to create new property. Let's expand this area. If I drag the button from here, instead of typing the text manually, I can change it text from here. Let's say this is contact button. This property also works if you type the text manually. For showing that, I will again drag the button and swap its icon and change it text manually from dummy text to, let's say, airplane mode. Now if I select the button, you can see the text has been updated from dummy text to airplane mode on property panel. The next and last component property is Boolean. For adding that property, I will select these icons again and click here to create Boolean property. And I will call this property, let's say, icons visibility. The Boolean have two values, the true or false. So basically with the help of this property, we can hide or show the icons. I will click here to create the property. As you can see on design panel, we have this icon visibility with eye icon and purple fill. That means this property has been added. If I select this component, you can see inside the properties panel, we have this icon visibility property. For using it, I will again drag this button and place it here. Let's say this is login button. And for some reason we do not need icon over login button. So we will simply turn off the icon visibility. I will place this button here and drag one more button. Let's say this is Android button. Let's change this icon to Android logo and the state of button to hover state. So this is how we use component properties to create dynamic components with multiple combinations. These features are recent addition to Figma and can be very useful if we need to create a large design system with multiple UI elements along with variations. So this is it. I will wrap up this lecture here. Thank you. Hi there, welcome back. From this section we will design the actual project and we will use all the tools that we have learned in previous sections. So the very first project that we are going to design is Edtech website for a startup. So here is the website structure. At very first we will design the nav bar. After that we will design the home page followed by course detail, mentor details, why to join page, then footer. And here is the feature detail with respect to the each page. So basically we are going to design a simple navbar with logo. After that we will design the home page, that is a consist of email input with sign up button. After that we will design the course detail page, that is a consist of cards with course details. After that we will design the mentor details page. After that we will design the why to join page that explains the feature of this Edtech website. And at last we will design the footer with social media links. So we will start designing the project in next lecture, but before that let's quickly go over the final project. So this is the final product that we are going to design in this section. So let's quickly move to the Figma and start creating the navbar. Hi there, welcome back. In this lecture we will create the navbar of our website. For that I will click here to create a new design file and rename this file Edtech website. So for creating the navbar, I will take a frame of size desktop and reduce its size to 120, and I will put the x and y values 0. This will be very helpful when we use the ruler tool. Now we want this navbar should come into the picture. For that I will press shift plus 1, that will zoom to fit. Just hold the command and scroll the mouse up and down. You can easily zoom in and zoom out. Now I will rename this frame navbar and take the text tool and write here hobby class and change the typeface from Roboto to Source Sans Pro and its font size to 36 and take 3 more copies. For that I will hold the option key and create the copy just by dragging and change the text from hobby class to explore classes and this one to mentor details third one to log in. Now select all these three texts. For that, hold the shift and select the text one by one and reduce its size from 36 to 24. Now we want to arrange this text inside this frame. For that, we will create the layout grid. For creating the layout grid, simply select the parent frame and click here to add the layout grid. Now we don't want that it should be grid of column 10 pixel, so we will change that. We will change it to column of count 6 and margin 100. So this margin is from both sides. You can verify it from here. For that, simply select the ruler tool and drag the ruler like this. You can see it is 100 pixel from this side. So ruler tool is very helpful for aligning the element precisely. And if you are not able to see this ruler strip, simply press Shift plus R. Shift plus R is the shortcut for turning on and off ruler tool. And for removing the ruler tool, just select this line and slide it like this. Now let's arrange this text. For that, I will select the text and hold the shift and move it like this. It will snap when it is in the center, and when I move this text to the rightmost corner, it will snap when it touches the grid. Now we will zoom out a little bit. Now we want to arrange these text and we want to provide the equal spacing between them. For that, we have two methods. The one is through alignment tool. For showing that method, I will select these text just by holding the shift and click here and distribute the horizontal spacing. This is the first method through which we can align them. The second one is AutoLayout method. For showing that, I will undo this. I will press Command and G, and by selecting all this text, I will right click and click here to add the AutoLayout. The shortcut for adding AutoLayout is Shift plus A. As soon as we apply the AutoLayout on layer panel, you can see we have this frame 1 with this double bar symbol, and inside this frame we have these three texts. That means we have applied the AutoLayout to these three texts, and from here we can manipulate the AutoLayout properties. So these two properties are just for changing the direction. Currently it is in horizontal direction. You can also put these three text into the vertical direction like this. I will undo this, and from here we can change the spacing between them. You can see how easily we can arrange it. For now I will put 80 and I will hold the shift and move this text to rightmost corner, and I will click here to arrange it into the center. Now let's increase the font weight of these text. For that, I will select the text by holding the shift and change its font weight from regular to semi bold, and I will put the text style into the design system. For that, I will click here and click this little plus icon and write here Source Sans Pro 24 pixel semi bold. I will again select this auto layout frame and move this text here. Now we will select this text and increase its font to semi bold, and I will put the text style into the design system. Now we will change the color of the text from black to blue. For that, we will select the text and change it from here. I will put the hex code 253685, and let's put this color style into the global system. So the main benefit of adding these style to global system, we don't have to recreate it every time. For example, if I want to change the color of this text, I will simply select it, and instead of typing the value manually, I will simply click here and choose the color blue. Let's put this grid into the design system. For that, I will select the navbar and click here and click this little plus icon and write here 6 column grid. So we have successfully created the navbar. In next lecture, we will create the hero section. Thank you. Hi there, welcome back. For moving the canvas, just hold the shift. When you hold the shift, this icon will be converted into the hand icon and you can move the canvas like this. Now let's design the next phase. For that, I will again take the frame and put it below the nav bar and reduce its height to 900, and I will turn on the grid. So you can see how easily we can reuse the style. We don't need to create it every time if we have added them into the global design. Let's rename this frame hero section. I will zoom a little bit. Now we want to place the image on right hand side and text and button on left hand side. So for placing the image, I will take a rectangle of size 200 by 600 and I will create two more copies. Now we want to fill the image in these rectangle one by one. For that we have the cool plugin, that is Unsplash, and for installing the plugin we need to go to the community page. For that we will click on browse plugins in community. That will redirect you to the community page and I will click here, and from here you can install the plugin. It is already installed in my system, that's why it is showing installed. And whatsoever plugin that we are going to use in the upcoming project, you can simply install it from here. And you can also search the specific plugin from this search bar. For example, content real. So this is very cool plugin for generating the fake content. So make sure you install these plugins. Now I will quickly move to design and I will go to the plugin Unsplash. I hope you have installed it and search for Creative Kits. And I will add these images one by one. And if you want to arrange these images, you can simply double click on it and you can crop it from here, and you can also change the image properties from here. And if you want to put the image manually, you can simply click here and click here to choose image, and from here you can choose the image from your local computer. Now I will turn off the grid. For that I will select the frame and click this little eye icon. The shortcut for turning on and off grid is Ctrl plus G. Now I will take the text tool and write here explore hobby classes for kids and take one more copy right here. Learn from what? Best professionals. Now I want to change the font size. For that I will simply click here and select the 24, and let's make the title all uppercase. For that I will detach the style and click here and change its letter case to uppercase, and I will put the text style into the design system. For that I will click here and arrange this text. Now select this both text and change their color from black to blue. Now let's create the button. For that I will take the frame and create here a button and input of size 610 by 80 and click here to fill the color and click this little plus icon to give the stroke of one of the color blue and change its corner radius to 10. Now I will turn off the grid and I will again take the text tool and write here your email address and arrange this text into the center. For that I will click here to align horizontal center and click here to align vertical center and change its text color from black to blue. I will create one more copy just by holding the option key, and change it text from your email address to sign up. And again I will arrange it into the center and reverse their color. Let's change its fill from white to blue, and I will select the text and change its color from blue to white. For that I will detach the style and change it to white. Let's put this white into the design system. Now I will select this both button and move it little bit and rename this email input sign up button. So this is how we can create the button of same theme just by reversing their colors. And if you click anywhere on the canvas, on right hand side you can see all the global styles that we have created. There, for example, we have created the 24 pixel and 36 pixel of source and pro. We have created the two colors and one grid. I will again take the text tool and write here, keep up to date on class events and new release. Now I want to add the icon in front of it. For that I will right click and go to plugin and go to feather icons. I will select this icon and move this icon here, and I will change the color of this icon from black to gray. For that I will put B2 B2 B2, and let's put this color into the design system. Now select the text and change its color to gray. Now I will select the text and icon and press Shift plus A to add auto layout, and I will change the space between them to 14, and let's arrange these into the center. But now we have one problem. You can see that this frame is outside of the main frame. So if you move the main frame, this text would not move. So we don't want that. I will press Ctrl and G, and I will select this auto layout frame and place inside the main frame. Now when I move the frame, all asset will move with the main frame. Now let's turn on the grid and select all these elements and arrange them. And I will select this text and place it below the sign up button. And let's select this subheading and put it below the main heading. So we have successfully created this section. In next lecture we will create the course detail section. Hi there, welcome back. In this lecture we will create the next page of our website. For that I will take the frame of size desktop and put it below the previous frame and change its height to 900 pixel, and I will zoom a little bit. I will take a text tool and write here experience live classes and align it to horizontal, and let's change its text style from 36 pixel to 48 pixel. For that I will detach the style and change it to 48 pixel and change its letter case from uppercase to normal, and I will again click here to put it into the center. And let's put this text style into the global style. Source and pro 48 pixel semi bold, and let's change its color from black to blue, and again take the text tool and write here experience the live one-to-one classes for kids to explore their hobby and talent. Now I will change its text style from 48 to 24 pixel and center it and put it below the main text and change its color from black to primary gray. Now we want to create the three cards that represent what kind of hobby classes this EdTech startup provides. For that, I will take the rectangle and turn on the grid. Shortcut for turning on the grid is Ctrl plus G. And I will create the rectangle of size 400 by 500 and change its corner radius to 20 and align this rectangle inside the frame. By holding the rectangle, I will go to same plugin and splash and search for calligraphy. Let's choose this image. I will again take the text tool and write here calligraphy and change this text from 24 pixel to 36 pixel, and let's align this text into the horizontal. For that, I will select the text and select the rectangle by holding the shift and click here. Let's turn off the grid. Now we have one problem that we are not able to read the text. For that, I will add the overlay. So for adding the overlay, I will select the rectangle and click here. It will automatically add the overlay of 20% of black color. You can also increase and decrease the opacity value from here. For making this text more visible, I will increase its opacity. So let's change its value from 20% to 40%. This approach is fine, but we have one more problem. Now we are able to read the text, but we don't want that the whole image gets darker. So for that, we will not use this method. We will create the gradient and reverse its pole by arranging it like this. It looks fine now. Now let's change this text. For that, select the text and detach the style and click here and change it lettercase to uppercase. Let's add this style to the design system. I will again arrange this text. For that, I will select the text and the rectangle and click here. Now we want to put the text below the calligraphy that represent number of enrollment in this class. For that, we will take the text tool and write here 2.1k kids and change its text from 36 uppercase to 24 semi-bold. Now we want to put the icon beside the text. For that, we will go to the plugin feather icon and search for heart. We will select this icon and change its color from black to red and select this vector shape and add fill to it and change the fill color to red. And let's put this red color into design system. Now place this icon beside this text. Now we have one problem that this icon is outside of this frame. For that, we will select this frame and put it inside the parent frame. Let's rename this frame course detail section. Now select the text and the icon and add AutoLayout to it and align this icon. Now select this frame and this rectangle and align it to horizontal and move this text little bit up. Now select everything and group them together and rename this group calligraphy class. Now you can see inside the calligraphy class group we have these three elements. Now let's create the two more copies of this group and change their text. Let's say this is painting. Now select the text and the rectangle and arrange it into the center and change it to 3.1k kids. Change third one to art and craft. Select the text and the rectangle and arrange it to center. Change this text to 1.1k kids and arrange it to center. Now let's change the image one by one. For that we will go to Unsplash and search for painting. Let's choose this image and go to the same plugin Unsplash and search for craft. Let's choose this image and let's rename this group from calligraphy class to painting class, and this one to art and craft. Now let's create the course filter button here. For that I will take the text and write here all. We are basically working on this frame course detail section. You can also minimize this, and let's convert this text to auto layout. For that I will press shift plus A. We can add fill to it, and let's change its fill color from white to blue and change its text color from black to white and give this a corner radius of 10 and change its padding to 10 for top and bottom and 20 for left and right. You can also verify it from here, 10 for top and bottom and 20 for left and right. Now create one more copy just by holding the option and change its text to most popular. So the benefit of creating the element with auto layout is, you can see when we change the text, the padding automatically get adjusted. We don't have to adjust it every time. So this is the one use case of auto layout. And now let's reverse its color. Change its background color from blue to white and change its text color from white to blue. And select this auto layout frame and give it a stroke of 1 of color blue and create two more copies and change it to trending and this one to just edit. Now select all these three and again add the auto layout to it. The shortcut for adding auto layout is shift plus A and change the spacing between them. Let's put here 30, and while selecting this frame click here to align it into the center. Now select all these three cards and drag it little bit down. Now we want to arrange these three cards with respect to the grid. For that I will select the frame and turn on the grid and select these card and arrange it. Now it is perfectly aligned. Now we want to create the slider button that represent that this card can move. For creating the slider button I will go to shape tool and take a ellipse and create a ellipse of size 80 by 80 and change its color to blue and detach the style and reduce its opacity to 50% and arrange it into the center with respect to this card. Now we will go to feather icon and select this icon and change its color to white and move this icon here. Now we want to increase the size of the icon, but if we increase the size of the icon with the move tool, you can see the size of the icon increases but the proportion is not maintained. So we will not use the move tool. We will use scale tool for scaling the vector shapes. Now you can see when we use the scale tool, the size of the icon increases proportionally. I will move this icon inside the frame and select this icon and this circle and align them into the center and group them together. For that I will press Command and G and rename this group left side slider. By selecting this group, hold the option and shift key together and drag it like this. It will move in the straight line and change the orientation and rename this group right side slider. So we have successfully created the course detail section. In next lecture we will create the mentor detail section. Thank you. Hi there, welcome back. In this lecture we will create the next page of our project. that is mentor detail section. For that, I will select this frame and create a copy of it by just holding the option and rename this frame mentor detail section. I will simply select this heading and change it to or top mentors and align it to horizontal and select this subheading and write here at hobby classes we have word class mentors from their respective field and arrange this text into the center. Now let's change this image. For that, I will select the rectangle and go to the same plugin Unsplash and search for teacher. Let's choose this image. Now I will select the second rectangle and fill this image to it, and we will fill the third rectangle in the same way. Now change the text from calligraphy to some random name. For that, I will select the text and go to content real and choose this name and arrange this text to the center. I will repeat the same for all these three rectangles. Now let's select the third one and arrange it to center. And let's arrange this image properly. For that, I will double click on it and click on image and crop it. Now it is fine. Let's change this text from 2.1k kids to teaches calligraphy and select this group and delete this icon and arrange this text to the center and repeat the same here. Teaches painting, select this group and delete this icon and arrange it to center. Teaches art and craft, select this icon and delete it and arrange this text into the center. And at last, select this filter button and delete it. Now let's rename these group one by one. Teaches calligraphy, this second one to teaches painting, and this third one to teaches art and craft. So we have perfectly created this section. In next lecture we will create the why to join hobby class page. Thank you. Hi there, welcome back. Lecture we will create the next page of our website, that is why to join hobby class page. For that, I will select this frame and create one more copy. So there are basically three ways to create the copy in Figma. You can use the option key, just select the frame and hold the option key and drag it. The second one is traditional approach, that is command C and command V, and you can also create the copy just by command and D. That is a single step approach. So you can use any method, it totally depends on your design flow. Now I will select this frame and put it below the previous frame, and let's rename this frame to why to join hobby class. Now let's select everything and delete it and select the frame and turn on the grid and take a frame and create a frame of size 610 by 200 and add fill to it and change its fill color from white to E9 EB F3 and give it a corner radius of 20 and add this color to the design system. and take the text tool and write here free session every Sunday and put it into the center. And if you take the frame instead of the rectangle, you don't need to select the both for aligning, because frame works as a parent container. Suppose I create the same rectangle by rectangle tool. I will change its corner radius to 20 and height to 200 and width to 610 and change its color to light blue. And when I take the text tool and write here something, largest number of courses. And now if I want to align this text with respect to the rectangle, I have to select the both, because let me show you, if I click here to align it, it will align according to this parent frame. So remember that this is the one main difference. If you want to align some element inside the shape, make sure you select the both. So let me show you. I will press Command and G. Now I will select the both. Now if I click here, it will align according to the shape. But in the case of frame, we don't need to do that. If I want to align this vertical center, I will simply select this text and click here. You can see it is aligned with respect to this frame. But in case of rectangle, it will align with respect to the main frame. It will not consider the shape as a parent. Now I will delete it and arrange this text here and change this text to capital case. For that, I will detach the style and select letter case to uppercase and add this style to design system. And again arrange it into the center and change its color to dark blue. And I will again take the text tool and create here a text area and put here some lorem ipsum. For that we have the cool plugin. I will generate 3 sentences and detach the style and change it text from 24 to 18 and change its letter case to normal and its font weight to regular and change its text color to blue. Now I will turn off the grid and create 3 more copies like this, and now turn on the grid and arrange it. Now everything is fine. Now change this text from free session to largest number of courses and this one to learn from passionate mentor and this one to focused course design. And let's put this text style into a design system. For that I will select the text and click here and write here source sans fro 18 pixel regular and change all these text. Now we will select the main text and change it to why learn with hobby classes and put it into the center and select this subheading and change it to experience extracurricular learning like never before and put it into the center. Now we have perfectly created this section. In next lecture we will create the footer. Thank you. Hi there, welcome back. In this lecture we will create the next page of our website, that is footer. For that I will take the frame of size desktop and put it below the previous frame and reduce its height to 300 and rename this frame footer. And I will minimize this frame and zoom a little bit and turn on the grid and take the text tool and write here explore and change this text from 18 pixel to 24 pixel semi bold and change its color from black to blue and take two more copies and rename it company and third one to follow us. And again take the text tool and write here programs mentors about us frequently asked questions. Now select all these four and change this text from 24 pixel auto to regular 18 pixel and change its color to primary gray. Now let's arrange these according to the grid. For that select these three and add AutoLayout to it and move this here and click here to align it into the center. And again select these three and add AutoLayout to it. The shortcut for that is Shift plus A and make sure the spacing between them is 30 and align it into the center. And make sure all these three align. For that select all these three and click here. Now we want to put here the social media icon. For that we will go to the feather icon and search for Facebook, Twitter, Insta and move this icon here. Now I will zoom a little bit and select all these three icons and add AutoLayout to it. For that I will press Shift plus A and put the spacing between them to 16 and arrange it just below this text and change its color to primary blue. Now we have perfectly created this section. In next lecture we will learn how to create the shareable link and prototype. Thank you. Hi there, welcome back. In this lecture we will learn how to create the prototype and how to create the shareable link. Before creating the prototype, we want to join all these frames together. For that we will create a new page and rename this page prototype. In Figma you can create the pages like this for organizing the design. Now I will take the frame of size desktop and increase its height by 5 times and I will select everything. For that I will press Command and A and copy it by Command and C and paste it here by Command and V. Now let's arrange all these frames with respect to the main frame. So let's arrange this. So one by one I will arrange it. Make sure all these frames are aligned to the center. I will select the parent frame and reduce its height and rename this frame Edtech website and select the main frame and click this little play icon to start the prototype. Now you can see the website is working perfectly in prototype mode. Now let's create the shareable link. For creating the shareable link, we just have to click here on share and click here to copy the link. So Figma automatically creates the link. We don't need to do anything. We just have to copy the link and we can simply paste this link into the browser to see the design. And when I click here, prototype mode would be open and you can see this website is working perfectly in the browser too. So this is all about this project. In upcoming section, we will create the next project. Thank you. Hi there, welcome back. In this section, we will create the next project, that is travel agency website. Here is the website structure. So this travel agency website consists of navbar, home page, followed by activities list, code, client testimonial, destination gallery, and footer. And here are the details for the feature. But very first, we will design the home page with search bar and simple navigation menu. After that, we will design the page for activities list with icon, followed by a page that is consist of quote about traveling. After that, we will design a client testimonial page that is consist of client review with image. After that, we will design the image gallery using AutoLayout, and at last we will design footer with newsletter subscription button. So we will start designing the project in next lecture. But before that, let's quickly go over the final project. So this is the final product that we are going to design in this section. So let's quickly move to the Figma and start creating the navbar. Hi there, welcome back. In this lecture, we will create the very first page of our website, that is home page. For that, I will click here and create a new design file and rename this file travel website. Basically, this homepage is a consist of nav menu with logo and search bar. For creating the homepage, we will take the frame of size desktop and rename this frame homepage and reduce its size to 900. Let's put background image here. For that, we will go to the Unsplash plugin and search for mountain. Let's choose this image and take the text tool and write here explore the world. Change it typeface to Rubik 48 pixel medium and arrange this text into the center and add this text style into the design system. For that, we will click here and click this little plus icon and write here Rubik 48 pixel medium. Now again take the text tool and write here discover mountain. This is the fictional name that we are giving to this travel agency. Let's reduce its size from 48 to 20 pixel and add this text style into the design system, that is Rubik 20 pixel medium, and place this text here. Let's put here y value 40, that means it is 40 pixel from the edge of the frame, so this value is 40 here. Take 3 more copies by holding option key and change it text to activities. Second one is to testimonial and third one is to destinations. Select these three text and add auto layout to it. For that, we will press shift plus A and reduce the spacing between them to 30. Let's create the grid and arrange this text properly. For that, I will select the frame and click here to create the layout grid and change it from grid to column of count 6 and margin 100 and arrange this text with respect to the grid. For turning off the grid, I will select the frame and press Ctrl and G. Ctrl and G is the shortcut for turning on and off the grid. You can also turn off and on grid from this eye icon. Now let's create the search bar. For that, we will take the frame and create the rectangle of size 800 by 80 and add fill to it and arrange this rectangle into the center. Let's move this text here and turn off the grid and give this a corner radius of 10. For increasing the contrast between the text and the background, let's add the overlay. For that, we will select the frame and click here. Now you can see the text are more visible now. Now let's complete the search bar. Let's write here search for the destination. Let's reduce its text size from 48 pixel to 16 pixel and add this text style into the design system, that is Rubik 16 pixel medium. And let's complete this text. Put this text into the center and arrange it, and let's put here the search icon. For that, we will go to the feather icon and search for search icon and place this icon here. But there is one problem, and that is this icon is outside of the main frame. So that means if I move this frame, the icon will not move with the frame. So we don't want that. We will put this icon inside the main frame. Now when I move the main frame, you can see everything moves with the frame. Again take the text tool and write here plan your journey, and let's again go to the feather icon and choose this icon and change its color from black to white and add this color into the design system, that is white, and move this icon here and place this icon inside the main frame. Now select the icon and the text and press Shift plus A to add the auto layout and arrange it into the center and align it with the search bar. Let's put the mountain icon with the company name. For that, we will go to the Iconify and search for mountain. Let's choose this icon and change its color from blue to white. Select the icon and the text and add auto layout to this. For that, I will press Shift plus A and reduce the spacing between them to 10. Let's arrange this logo with respect to the grid and click here to start the prototype. We have successfully created this page according to the product brief. In next lecture, we will create the activities page. Thank you. Hi there, welcome back. In this lecture, we will create the next page of this website, that is travel activities page. For that, we will again go to the frame tool and take the frame of size desktop and put it below the previous frame and reduce its size to 900 and rename this frame activities. Let's minimize this home page. Take the text tool and write here activities we offer and change its font from 16 pixel to 48 pixel. Basically this page is a consist of image and activity list. For creating the image, just take the frame and create the frame of size 600 by 400. And while selecting the frame, let's go to the Unsplash plugin and search for cycling. Let's choose this image and give this a corner radius of 10. Just put the grid into the design system. For that, we will select this home page frame and click here and add this grid into the design system. Let's turn on the grid. For that, select the frame and click here and select the grid that we have created and arrange this image with respect to the grid and put this image into the center. Now let's create the activities list. For that, we will take the frame and create the frame of size 600 by 80 and give it a stroke of 2 and take the text tool and write here walking and hiking. Reduce its text size from 48 to 24. For that, we will detach the style and change it to 24 and add this text style into the design system, that is Rubik 24 pixel medium, and arrange this text into the center and select this both and arrange it according to the image. And let's put here the icon. For that, we will go to the Iconify and search for hiking. Let's choose this image and put this icon here. Select this text and the icon and add auto layout to it and put this icon into the center and increase the spacing between them to 20. Let's put here the arrow icon. For that, we will go to the feather icon and select this icon and put this icon here. Arrange it into the center and increase its size from 24 to 36. Now select this frame and the icon and again add auto layout to it. For that, I will press Shift plus A and change the spacing between them to 240 and place them into the center. Let's rename this walking and create 4 more copies. And change it text from walking to cycling. But there is one problem. When we change the text, this alignment get disturbed. Let's fix this. For that, we will change its spacing mode from pack to space between. And its width to 530. Let's do the same for this. Change it to space between and change its width to 530 and arrange it into the center. Now let's change this text from walking to trekking and change its spacing mode from pack to space between and its width to 530. Change this text to rafting and change its spacing mode from pack to space between and its width to 530. Repeat the same for this. Let's say yoga and change its spacing mode from pack to space between and its width to 530. Now change its corner radius. For that we will click here, change its bottom right corner to 10 and bottom left corner to 10. And for the top one, change its top left corner to 10 and top right corner to 10. Now everything looks perfect. Let's change this icon. For that, delete this icon and let's go to the same plugin Iconify and search for cycling. Let's choose this one and place this icon here. The text will automatically adjusted because we have applied auto layout to it. Let's change this icon to, let's search for trekking. Let's choose this icon, delete this one and place this icon here. Let's change this one to rafting. Let's choose this icon, delete this icon and place this icon here. Let's change this icon to, that is yoga. Let's choose this one. Delete this icon and place this icon here. Take the text tool and write here cycling and change the text size from 48 to 24 pixel and take one more copy and write here see all things to do. Place it here and take the line tool and create a line of stroke 2. Select this line and the text and arrange it into the center. Select this text and add underline to it. For that we will detach the style and click here and add decoration to underline. Let's add this text into the design system, that is Rubik 24 pixel underline. Now let's turn on the grid and arrange these with respect to the grid. Arrange this one too. So this is it. In next lecture we will fill the color to this web page. Thank you. We have successfully created this page. Let's add color to this. So there are multiple ways for choosing the color palette. There may be possible when you are designing the actual project, the company or client had already set the color guideline. So you have to use that. Otherwise, we can choose the color from the color palette. For that, we have many cool resources on internet, but let me show you the most popular one. For that, I will go to the Google and search for colors. That is COLORS, and I will click here the very first website, that is Colors, the super fast color palette generator. So this is the very popular website for generating the color palette. So let me show you how to use it. You can simply click here to start the color palette and you can generate the desired color palette from here. Press spacebar to generate the more color palettes. You can simply click here to copy the hex, or you can view the set from here, and if you want to remove the color you can click here. So this is one way of choosing the color individually. There are also pre-made color palettes, so let's see that. For that we will go back to the main page and click here, and you can see from here we can choose the popular color palettes, and from the search bar we can also choose the specific color palettes. Let's say we want the brown color palette. For that we will click here brown, and you can see we get the brown color palettes. This is a very cool website where we can choose the color according to the project requirement. And suppose you want to export this color palette totally, you don't want to copy one by one, so you have to simply click here and click here export color palette, and click here to copy the SVG. And let's go to the Figma, and inside the download folder we have the SVG that we have downloaded. Simply drag it from here. So by this method you can simply export the whole color palette. I will delete it. This was just to show you. So that is the one method from where we can generate the color palette. Figma community have also some cool plugins that we can use to generate the colors. So let me show you few plugins. For that we will go to the community, click here to go to the plugin, and there is a very cool plugin that is AI color palette generator. I will click here to install and click here to run this color palette generator. So you can see we can choose the color palette from here, or we can click here to generate the desired color palette. For example, I will search here yellow. You can see this plugin has generated the yellow color palette. So basically this plugin is generating the color palette from the unsplash image. We can also click here on AI to see the multiple variation and combination of yellow color with other colors. Let's say I want the red. So you can see how easily we can generate the colors for our web project with the help of these plugins. The another very useful plugin that I want to show you is image palette generator, and that basically extract the color from the image. For that I will search here image palette and click here to install. So this is very cool plugin. This plugin basically extract the color palette from the image. So let me show you. For that I will take the frame and go to the unsplash plugin, and let's search for mountain. Let's choose this image. Now let's run the image palette plugin. So this is how we generate the color palette from the image. In next lecture we will move back to travel website and fill the color. Thank you. Hi there, welcome back. In this lecture we will fill the color. For that I will copy this color palette. I will select it one by one by holding the shift, and I will press Command and C for copy and paste it here, and place this color palette here. Let's arrange this color palette from darker to lighter and put it into the design system. For that I will select this circle and click here and click this little plus icon. Let's say dark green 1, this is dark green 2, this is light green, this one is light green 2, and this one is light green 3. You can see we have successfully put the color palette into the design system. That is dark green 1, dark green 2, light green. Let's rename this light green 1. Now select the color palette and delete it. For deleting it, hit the delete key. We are basically deleting it from design file, not from the design system. You can see inside the color style we still have those colors. Now let's fill the color. For that I will turn off the grid and select this and change its fill from black to dark green 1, and change these text to. Now select the list and change its stroke color from black to light green, and change its text color to dark green, and change the icon color to dark green 1. So this is it. In next lecture we will design the code page. Thank you. Hi there, welcome back. In this lecture we will design the next page of our website, that is consist of code regarding travel. For creating that I will take the frame of size desktop and put it below the previous frame, and reduce its size to 450, and rename this frame coat, and fill it background with the image. For that we will go to the unsplash and search for mountain. Let's choose this image and add overlay to it, and instead of black overlay change its color to green and reduce its opacity to 60%. I will again take the frame and create the frame of size 1000 by 250 and add fill to it and change its corner radius to 10. Align this frame into the center. For adding the quote here we will go to the Google and search for brainy quotes That's very cool website for all kind of codes. Inside the search bar I will type travel. Let's copy this code and paste it here. Let's also copy the author name and put it here. Now change its text style to Rubik 36 pixel and reduce its text area, and add this text style into the design system, that is Rubik 36 pixel regular. Change this text to, now arrange it properly, put this quote into the double quotation and add tilde character before the author name. Tilde button is just below the escape key in the keyboard. Now select both and add AutoLayout to it. Change the spacing between them to 6, align it into the center. And now change its color from black to dark green and take the line tool and create a vertical line of stroke 2 and change its color to dark green 2 and arrange this line into the center. We have successfully created the quotation page. In next lecture we will create the testimonial page. Thank you. Hi there, welcome back. In this lecture we will create the next page of our website, that is client testimonial page. For creating that, we will take the frame of size desktop and put it below the previous frame and change its height to 900 pixel and rename this frame client testimonial. This page basically consists of a heading, image and paragraph. For creating the heading, we will take the text tool and write here what our client says and change it from 36 to 48 pixel and arrange this into the center and change its y value to 40. That means it is 40 pixel from the top of the frame. Change its color from black to dark green and take the ellipse tool and create here a ellipse of size 250 and put it into the center and fill image to it. For that we will go to the unsplash and search for portrait. Let's choose this image, move this image little bit up and let's write here the review. For that we'll select the frame and turn on the grid and take the text tool and create a text layer and go to the lorem ipsum and generate one paragraph and change its size from 48 pixel to 24 pixel. Let's reduce the paragraph size and arrange it into the center and change its color from black to dark green and take the text tool and write here Lisa and arrange it into the center. Let's go to the Iconify and search for comma. Let's choose this icon and click here to import and increase its size from 24 to 64 and change its color from blue to light green one and take one more copy and reverse it by holding the shift and arrange this icon with respect to the paragraph. Now select all these 4 elements and group them together and move this group little bit down and rename this group client testimonial text. Now we will put here navigation icon that simply represent that this page have more than one client review. For that we will go to the feather icon and choose this icon and place this icon here and scale its size from 24 to 36. Place this icon inside the testimonial frame and take one more copy and reverse it. Now select both and add AutoLayout to it and put the spacing between them 60 and arrange it into the center and place this here and change its color from black to dark green. Now I will select the whole frame and click here to go to the prototype mode. So everything looks fine here. We have successfully created this page. In next lecture we will create the destination page. Thank you. Hi there, welcome back. In this lecture we will create the image gallery. We will create that image gallery with the help of AutoLayout. So for creating the destination page we will take the frame. The shortcut for frame is F and from the list I will select the frame of size desktop and put it below the previous frame and change its size to 900 multiplied by 2, that means 1800 and rename this frame destinations. So this page is basically consist of a heading, subheading and image gallery. For creating the heading, we will take the text tool and write here luxury destinations and arrange it into the center and change its size from 24 pixel to 48 pixel and put here the y value 40. Take one more copy and write here welcome to the world of wonder with Discover Mountain and change its size from 48 pixel to 24 pixel and arrange it into the center and put it below the main heading. Now let's create the image gallery. For that we will turn on the grid and again take the frame and create here the frame of size 610 by 340 and add image to it. Let's search for destination. Let's put this image and take one more copy and select both and add AutoLayout to it. For that we will press Shift plus A and leave the spacing between them to as it is, that is 20. So this is basically a 2-column grid. Let's create the 3-column grid. For that I will again take the frame and create the frame of size 400 by 340 and add image to it. Let's search for destination. Let's choose this image and by holding option key take 2 more copies and select all these frame and add AutoLayout to it. For that we will press Shift plus A and leave the spacing between them as it is, that is 20 and arrange it here. Now select all these frame and take one more copy and turn off the grid. Now basically we have the 4 frame with AutoLayout. Now select all these 4 frame one by holding option key and again add AutoLayout to it and put the spacing between them to 20. The benefit of using AutoLayout is if you want to change the spacing between them at once, we can easily manipulate that from here. If you want to change the horizontal spacing, we can easily manipulate it from here. At very first we have added the horizontal AutoLayout and after that by selecting all these 4 frames we have added the vertical AutoLayout. So this is how AutoLayout nesting works. Now let's arrange this image gallery into the center and change its image one by one. For that we will again go to Unsplash and change it. Let's choose this image. So we have successfully created the image gallery. Now select the frame and click here to see how does it look in actual browser. So it looks fine. In next lecture we will create the footer. Thank you. Hi there, welcome back. In this lecture we will create the footer. For that we will take the frame of size desktop and reduce its size to 400 and put it below the destination frame and rename it footer. So this footer is basically consist of an image and input for newsletter sign up. For creating that we will take the frame and create the frame of size 610 by 300 and we will go to the Unsplash plugin and search for mountain. Now we will choose the same image that we have chosen for the home page and arrange this frame with respect to the grid. Give it a corner radius of 10 and background fill of 20% and take the text tool and write here Discover Mountain and arrange this text into the center and change its size from 24 pixel to 36 pixel. Let's increase the opacity from 20% to 30% and change the background fill of the footer from white to dark green to. Take the text tool and write here sign up for newsletter. Reduce its size from 36 pixel to 24 pixel. Take one more copy and write here sign up now to receive special offers and best tools. And decrease its size to 18 pixel regular. For that we will declare the style and put here 18 regular and add this text style to the design system, that is Rubik 18 pixel regular. And let's create the email input. For that we will take the frame and create here an email input of 400 by 50 and add fill to it and give it a corner radius of 10. Now take the text tool and write here email and change its color from black to dark green and arrange it into the center. And let's create the send button. Take one more copy and change its text to subscribe and change its color from dark green one to white and change its fill from white to dark green and reduce its size from 400 to 200 and arrange this text into the center and put this button here. Now let's turn on the grid and arrange them properly. Select this button and the input and group them together. Now select this group and this text and add AutoLayout to it and put the spacing between them 30. Now arrange it into the center. Now let's turn off the grid. So we have perfectly created the footer and we have designed all the pages. In next lecture we will put all the pages together and we will see the final product in prototype mode. Thank you. Hi there, welcome back. In this lecture we will connect all these pages together and we will create a prototype. For connecting all these pages together, I will create a second page. For that I will click here and click this little plus icon and rename this page travel website prototype and rename this page travel website UI design. Now select all these pages by command and A and copy it by command and C and paste it here. And for connecting all these pages I will take the frame offside desktop and put this frame here and increase its height and put these pages inside this main frame one by one. We will arrange them properly. You can see when the edge of two frames touches each other, it snaps. So make sure you don't overlap these pages. Now reduce the main frame size and rename this frame travel website. Now you can see we have all the frames inside the main frame. Now by selecting this frame, click here to start the prototype. Now you can see everything looks perfect and we have created this page according to the product brief. In next section we will start with the new project. Thank you. Hi there, welcome back. In this section we will create the next project, that is UI UX designer portfolio. Basically this designer portfolio is consist of navbar, about page followed by work page, blog page and contact form. So at first we will design the navbar. After that we will design the about page, that is consist of a designer introduction with CV download button. After that we will design the work page that showcase the project details. After that we will design the simple blog page and at last we will design the contact form with submit button. So we will start designing the project in next lecture, but before that let's quickly go over the final project. So this is the final product that we are going to design in this section. So let's quickly move to the Figma and start creating the navbar. Hi there, welcome back. In this lecture we will create the very first page of the portfolio design website. For that we will click here to create a new design file and rename this file portfolio design. For creating the home page, we will take the frame of size desktop and reduce its size to 900 and let's put the x and y value to 0. We are basically changing the x and y value to 0 because it is easy to use the ruler tool while designing. When we drag the ruler tool from here, you can see it is very easy to do the calculation when the starting coordinate is at 0. Now I will remove the ruler tool. This was just to show you why we are putting here 0. Now let's start designing. So this is the basically home page that is a consist of navbar and image and the text that basically introduce the designer. So for creating the image card, we will take the frame of size 400 by 400. By selecting this frame, let's go to the Unsplash and search for portrait. Let's choose this image and arrange this image into the center and give it a corner radius of 10. Now take the text tool and write here hello world, my name is. Take one more copy and let's go to the plugin content real and generate some random name. Let's choose this name. Take one more copy and write here head of design at beta design. Let's change the typeface of these text, but before that Let me show you very cool resource for typography. For that we will go to the Google and search for Google Fonts and click here. This is very cool website for fonts. From here we can choose the typeface for our project. You can see Google Font have around 1500 families of font. You can also type the text here, for example hello world, and you can see how the hello world looks in different typefaces. There are thousands of typefaces. You can also filter them from here. For example, let's only take the sans serif, and you can see we have more than 500 families of sans serif from where we can easily choose. Generally we use the sans serif in web. Serif font generally used in print media. You can also search the font name from here, for example work sans, and you can click here to know the detail about the font, and you can see multiple styles are available for this font. So always try to choose the font which have multiple styles, because that will give you more freedom while designing. And if you want to use the any typeface from Google Font inside the Figma, you don't have to do anything, because all these fonts are already embedded in the Figma. You have to simply search for that. For example work sans. Now change its size from 12 to 36 and its weight to medium, and change this one to 64 semi bold and this one to 24 medium. Now select all these three and add auto layout to it and put the spacing between them 20. Now arrange these text into the center, and let's create the button here that says download CV. For that we will take the text tool and write here and add auto layout to it. For that I will press shift plus A and click here to add the fill and change this fill from white to 433 CA4. Add this color into the design system, that is primary blue, and change this color from black to white, and add this color into the design system, that is white, and give it a corner radius of 10 and a horizontal padding of 20 and vertical padding of 16. And let's put here the icon that indicates the download button. For that we will go to the feather icon and search for download. Let's choose this icon and place this icon inside this button and change its color from black to white. Now select this frame and change its color from black to primary blue. Now select these two and add auto layout to it and put the spacing between them 40. At first we have added the auto layout by selecting these text. After that we have created the button with the help of auto layout, and at last we have selected both and again added the auto layout. So you can see we have 3 auto layout. Now select the whole frame and arrange it into the center. And now let's create the layout grid of count 6 and margin 100 and arrange these two into the center. For that I will select this image and the frame, and I will again press shift plus A to add the auto layout and put the spacing between them to 100 and arrange it into the center. Now take the text tool and write here about and create 2 more copies by holding option key and change this text to work and this one to blog, and take one more copy and write here contact. Now select all these 4 text and change this font weight from medium to semi bold and add this text style into the design system, that is work sans 24 pixel semi bold. And while selecting all, add auto layout to it and put the spacing between them 60 and arrange this here, that is 40 pixel from top, and change this color from black to primary blue. Let's add these text inside the design system, that is work sans 36 pixel medium, and add this one to work sans 64 pixel semi bold, and add this one to, that is work sans 24 pixel medium. Let's choose the text style of the button from the design system. Now again take the text tool and write here her initial name Jenny Wilson JW, and let's change the text style from 24 pixel medium 24 pixel semi bold and change its color from black to blue. Let's again go to the feather icon and choose this icon and place this icon here. Select this icon and the text and add auto layout to it and put the spacing between them 10 and arrange the icon into the center and change the icon color from black to blue and put this here. Again take the text tool and write here about, and by holding shift rotate it to 90 degree and detach the style and change its text to 40 pixel and add this text style to the design system, that is work sans 40 pixel semi bold and change its color from black to blue and put this text here and arrange it into the center and change its y value from 22 to 30. That means 30 pixel from the left edge of the frame. Let's rename this frame about page. Now select the frame and click here to start the prototype. So everything looks fine. We have successfully created the about page. In next lecture we will create the work page. Thank you. Hi there, welcome back. In this lecture we will create the next page of the portfolio design, that is work page that showcase the work. For creating that we will take the frame of size desktop and put it below the previous frame and reduce its height to 900 and rename this frame to work. This page basically lists the project that we have previously created, that is consist of a heading with detail and image. For creating the heading I will take the text tool and write here Edtech website and change its font size from 12 to 32 and font weight to semi bold and typeface to work sans and add this text style to the design system, that is work sans 32 pixel semi bold. Change its fill from black to blue and take one more copy and write here Kids EdTech website for exploring hobby and art. This is the first project that we have created in this course. We will list the project that we have previously designed. While selecting the text, change its font size to 20 pixel. For that, we will detach the style and write here 20 pixel and change its font weight to medium and add this text sign to the design system. And again take the text tool and create here the few highlights about the project. Let's say web UI design. Change its text size from 20 pixel to 16 pixel. For that we will detach the style and change it to 16 pixel and add this text sign to the design system, that is work sans 16 pixel medium, and while selecting the text add auto layout to it. For that we will press shift plus a and fill a background color of blue and change its text color to white and give it a corner radius of 10 and take two more copies and write here visual design and let's say this is web design. Take one more copy and create here live. This button simply says if someone click here it will redirect them to live website. Now change its color. For that I will remove its fill and give it a stroke of color blue and change its text color from white to blue. And let's increase its stroke value from 1 to 2 and put here the icon. For that we will go to the feather icon and let's choose this icon. Place this icon inside this button and change this color from black to blue and select this whole frame and arrange this icon and the text into the center and scale down the size of the icon. For that we will take the scale tool. The shortcut for scale tool is K and reduce its size from 24 to 18. Now select these three elements and add auto layout to it and leave the spacing between them as it is, that is 20. And now select these four elements and add auto layout to it and leave the spacing between them as it is, that is 16. Now let's create here the card that showcase the project home page. For creating that, we will take the frame and create here the frame of size 610 by 300 and add a stroke of 2 and change the stroke color from black to blue and give it a corner radius of 10 and put this frame here. We will put the image here, but before that let's select this frame and these text and add AutoLayout to it and arrange them into the center and turn on the grid. But before that, let's put this grid into the design system. Now select this frame and turn on the grid and arrange these elements with respect to the grid. Now take one more copy and place it here and reverse it like this. We can easily reverse this because we have added AutoLayout to it, and change its text from Edtech website to travel agency and change its subheading to that is travel agency that provide word to. Now turn off the grid and fill here the project home page. For that, we will go to the course and click here on project 1 and from resource download this Figma file and also download the project 2 from the resource. Now move back to Figma and go to the home page and click here to import the downloaded file. You can also use your design file that we have previously designed together. I am using this method just to show you how import and export works in Figma. I will click here done and open this file and select the home page and click here to export. You can also change the quality from here. The 1x means original file, and below that you will get the reduced quality, and above that you will get the high quality. But let's export at 1x. Change it from PNG to JPEG and click here to export the section and click here to save. Now move back to portfolio design and select this frame and add fill to it and change this fill from solid to image and choose the image that we have downloaded. Now let's fill the travel agency image here. For that, we will again go to the Figma home and click here to import the file and double click here to open it and export the home page. And for exporting this, select this home page and click here and change its format from PNG to JPEG. And instead of exporting from here, you can also export from the main menu. For that, simply click here and go to the file and click here to export. You can also see the detail of the page here and click here to export and click here to save. Now move back to portfolio design and double click on it and click here to fill and change this fill from white to image and select this home page. Now select this whole frame and click here to start the prototype, and let's see how does it work in browser. It looks fine in the browser. There is one more thing that we forget to add, that is the name of the page. For adding this, we will select this text, hold the option and shift and drag it here and change this text from about to work and arrange this text into the center. So this is it about this lecture. In next lecture, we will design the blog page. Thank you. Hi there, welcome back. Lecture, we will create the blog page. For that, I will click here and take the frame of size desktop and put it here and reduce its size to 900 and rename this frame blog. Copy this text from here. For copying this, hold the option and shift key and drag it here. When you hold the shift while dragging, it will move in a straight direction. Change it to blog, arrange it into the center. Now take the frame and create here the frame of size 610 by 400 and fill image to it. For that, we will go to the Unsplash and search for UX design. Let's put this image, give it a corner radius of 10 and turn on the grid from here and place this image with respect to the grid. Now turn off the grid. The shortcut for turning on and off grid is Ctrl plus G. Take the text tool and write here why UX is changing the word. Reduce its size from 40 pixel to 24 pixel bold. For that, we will detach the style and change it to 24 pixel bold and add this text style into the design system, that is work sans 24 pixel bold. Take one more copy and increase its text area, and by selecting the text we will go to the lorem ipsum and generate 3 sentences. Change its text size from 24 pixel to 16 pixel and change this fill from black to gray and add this gray into the design system. Right here, read more, select this text and detach the style and add the underline to it and change its text weight from medium to bold and change this color from gray to blue. Let's reduce its frame size. Now select these three and add AutoLayout to it. Align them into the left and decrease the spacing between them to 20. Now arrange this into the center and take one more copy and change its image. Let's again search for UX design. Let's choose this image and change its heading to how to get started as UX designer. Now turn on the grid and arrange these two with respect to the grid, and by selecting the both element arrange it into the center. Now turn off the grid and click here to start the prototype. It looks fine in prototype mode. So this is it about this lecture. In next lecture we will create the contact page. Thank you. Hi there, welcome back. In this lecture we will create the contact page. For that, take the frame of size desktop. The shortcut for frame is F and rename this frame contact and change it height to 900 and copy this heading from here. Press option and shift while dragging. Right here contact and arrange this text into the center. For creating the contact form, I will take the frame and create the frame of size 820 by 700. Add a stroke to it and change the stroke color from black to blue and give it a corner radius of 10 and arrange this frame into the center. Now turn off the grid. Take the text tool and write here name. Change the text size from 40 pixel to 24 pixel semi bold and change this color from black to blue. Take the line tool and create here line and create here the line of size 700 and arrange this line into the center. Now select the line and the text and add AutoLayout to it and give the spacing between them 6. Change the line color from black to blue. Change its stroke value to 2. Now take 3 more copies and change their text. This is email, this one to subject and this one to message. Now select all these 4 elements and add AutoLayout to it and leave the spacing between them as it is, that is 100. Again take the text tool and write here send, add AutoLayout to it and give it a fill of color blue and change the text from black to white and give it a corner radius of 10. Change its horizontal padding to 20 and vertical padding to 16 and add send icon here. For that we will go to the feather icon and search for send and select this icon and place this icon here. Change its color from black to white and arrange this icon into the center. Now select this button and put it into the center. Move it little bit down. Let's increase its padding from 20 to 60. Now select the whole frame and let's go to the prototype mode and see how does it look in actual browser. So this is it. In this lecture we have designed the contact page with the help of AutoLayout. In next lecture we will connect all these pages together. Hi there, welcome back. In this lecture we will connect the all pages and upload it to Behance. Before connecting all these pages we will create a new page from here and rename this frame portfolio prototype and rename this one to portfolio design. Now select all the pages by Command and A and copy it by Command and C and paste it here by Command and V. For connecting them together we will take the frame of size desktop and increase its height and put this frame inside this main frame and arrange it properly. Now rename this main frame portfolio. While selecting the frame, click here to start the prototype and let's see how does it look in actual browser. It looks quite nice in browser. Now let's upload it to Behance. For that I will go to the Google and search for Behance. Behance is the basically social network for creative professionals. Click here behance.net And if you are new to Behance and you don't have account, simply click here to create the account, or you can also sign up with a social media account. And if you have account, simply click here to sign in and put here your credential and click here to continue. And before uploading the portfolio project, let's quickly go over the guidelines. Behance guideline recommends the file type of JPEG and width around 1400 pixel to 2800 pixel. So we will export our project according to this. For that we will move back to Figma, and while selecting this frame I will click here to export and change this file format to JPEG and click here to export portfolio and click here to save. Now I will move back to Behance. Click here share your work and click here to upload the image. Now everything looks fine. I will click here to continue and put here the project title UI UX portfolio design and put here the project tag portfolio web design UI UX and Figma. You can also choose the tag from here, and the tool that we have used is Figma, and from here we will choose the UI UX design and web design and leave the Behance visibility to everyone and click here to change the cover image. I will drag it to home page and drag this slider to zoom. On right hand side you can adjust the image, and on left hand side you can see the preview. When you think it is perfectly fine, simply click here to crop and click here to publish. Now our portfolio has been successfully published to the Behance. You can share your portfolio on social media using these links, or you can simply copy this link and paste it here. And if you think the image is a little bit blurry, you can also export the image in higher resolution from here. So this is it about this project. In this section we have created the portfolio and learned how to upload it to Behance. In next section we will design the next project. Thank you.